What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, hate is based
What's up, losers?
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, everybody. I am Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. I wasn't paying attention. It caught me off guard. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. We've got breaking news. By the way, this is about Dan Crenshaw. I made a fucking hilarious Dan Crenshaw video the other day on TikTok, and basically nobody saw it. I don't know if TikTok like metered it or if people just didn't think it was funny. It was fucking funny. Uh-oh. What's this?
Nah, Guichi, baba.
Huh?
Guichi, Cuban, born and raised in Cuba.
No, you said though.
Yeah, I say that word. I say. Yeah.
Why though?
You're not from me. That's how. Are you recording me? That's crazy. You're weird as hell for that.
Yeah.
But all right, in Miami, I'll expect.
Cuban guy dropping the N-word.
Miami, every Cuban. So we don't get heat with it.
I'm gonna tell you something though. You should not say that word though.
No,
I mean, bro,
our grandma's full black.
Because y'all not black though.
Nah, I don't know.
So you shouldn't say it. Like if there was a Cuban slang or slur, I would never say
That's
that.
how Cubans say it. But it's
Hey. You guys have cigarettes?
nah. He got one. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
He says that they're drunk, though. I don't think anything's going to happen.
I'm just telling you, it's not cool.
I mean, that's not about a matter of being cool. Like nobody tells
I'm just saying
me
it's disrespectful though.
To who?
To black people.
So why do black people not get if I say it?
What?
No, not here. I'm saying whatever I say.
Because they're stupid.
Oh, so everyone else is stupid, but you're not. That's what I mean.
The black people
so you
think it's
sound
okay
racist.
for you to
Because you're saying the black people say it's okay when you say it.
I'm black.
Okay, but the black people here say it's okay when I say it.
They can't give you a
Like I'm a
pass.
minority. Actually, a bigger minority than you.
They can't give you a pass.
But I'm a bigger minority.
What's a bigger minority?
Cubans? This big. We're a little island this big.
No, we're Miami. You're the majority.
Don't matter.
Miami is 70%
Minority.
Spanish.
Yeah,
We're the
I'm not
minority.
Cuban. There's more blacks than Cubans in
Don't say the
Miami.
word. That's
I'm
all
gonna say the word and nothing you can do about it. If you want, you can do something about it. Because nobody else got an issue with it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but you're not even black because like a light skin. You come into my spot, you telling me what I can't
Light skin's
say.
not black?
It's not.
Why do you feel comfortable saying
Because I'm a bigger minority than you. I'm Hispanic. We do. I do a lot of business.
You're not
Yes, we are.
dark.
What are you talking about? Like,
He's not black, bro.
I don't need to be black.
Something you understand? Like,
I don't need to be
Not black.
black.
Unless you're definitely not Afro-Cuban.
we're Afro-Cuban. We're Afro-Cuban. We're Afro-Cuban.
You're saying, hold on, man.
Now they're Afro-Cuban.
I'm saying just don't say the word.
Yeah, but I'm Afro-Cuban. I like all half of my friends.
No, you don't get to say the word because you're
you're not black, bro.
Yeah, but like that's
Are you the guy
I'm
on
the guy.
TikTok?
Wealth.
I like this guy too, bro.
Are you black?
Me?
Yeah, a lot of them do get the pass. I've got the pass. I do it quietly while sitting on the shitter in my bathroom. Anyways, I made a hilarious video, and I don't think anybody saw it, okay? YouTube only sent it to, or TikTok only sent it to 194 people, and it was funny as shit. So watch this video. So it's a guy with an eye patch. Okay? It's a guy in a dress shirt with an eye patch. Headbutting a pumpkin. Okay? And then he makes this weird fucking hole in it with his head. Bearded guy, eye patch, dress shirt, headbutting a pumpkin, makes this weird fucking hole. You don't get anything, so I don't care. So obviously, the go-to there is Dan Crenshaw.
This is a clip from Dan Crenshaw's OnlyFans, and all I can say is worth every penny.
It's Dan Crenshaw's OnlyFans. That's fucking hilarious.
This is a clip from Dan.
That's fucking hilarious. It looks sort of like him. He made a penis-shaped hole in the fucking pumpkin. And by the way, this whole video is just him headbutting a pumpkin. I don't know who this guy is, but he looks kind of like Dan Crenshaw. Pumpkin number 2. I thought it was funny. I don't guess people got it. I don't know. I don't know what we're proving here. If you don't know who this guy is, this is a guy that takes this. I've got some. It's good for toughening up your skin. There's this medicine that you spray on dogs' paws, and it like toughens their paws. Well, like if my hands like stay wet or damp or whatever, you know, they start to get like weaker. I've got pretty good calluses and blisters on most spots, but on some spots where it's like weaker or I notice I keep getting a blister, I use this medicine. I've got it at the house on that area of the skin for like a few days in a row, and it toughens up that patch of skin. Like if I'm doing like a super repetitive task that I don't normally do, so it doesn't like fall in this area, like let's say it falls like right here over and over again, and I notice I'm getting a blister, I use that shit on there like 2 or 3 days in a row, and it really, I guess it's just a high alcohol content or something. It kind of drives out and roughs the skin up to where you stop getting blisters. I know runners use it a lot of times on certain parts of their feet, like distance and marathon runners or like ultra marathon Ironman people. But that's how this guy's account got famous. He started using it. He calls it dog medicine, which it is for dogs as well. But it's like a medicine. He started using it on his hands and then videotaping every day of like how rough his hands were. And he used it for like fucking 2 years on his hands. I guess now he's driving a nail with his knuckle or something. Anything for views, I guess. Somebody said, yeah, it looks like Dad's taking the divorce really well. Anyways, the joke was really funny. I don't have to justify myself to you bunch of fucking assholes. The joke was funny. Okay? Dan Crenshaw's OnlyFans. He headbutts it till he's got a glory hole in the pumpkin, then he fucks it. It's his OnlyFans. Worth every penny. Anyways, the reason we're talking about Dan Crenshaw is this. For immediate release, red flag. Immediate release, red light, immediate release, red light. Representative Dan Crenshaw threatens to sue Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan's kind of a bitch. Like, I don't like Dan Crenshaw, but Sean Ryan's kind of a bitch. So Dan Crenshaw said to Sean Ryan, you're going to see the message. Sean Ryan basically implied that Dan Crenshaw was like super wealthy and he shouldn't have made that much money being a senator, which a lot of people have implied. Like if you're making $190,000 a year, how are you worth after 4, 6, 8 years? How are you worth, millions? A lot of people have made that. So Dan Crenshaw responds back and says, hey, I was talking to some of my buddies on SEAL Team 6 because Sean Ryan runs with all the SEALs and the military and Hegseth and all those fucking idiots. And he said, I heard from them that maybe you believe some inaccurate stuff about me. Like I'd sit down and talk to you about it, right? Clear it up. And Sean Ryan takes that as a death threat. Because the guy mentioned SEAL Team 6, he's pretending as if Dan Crenshaw was going to sell the Navy SEALs to kill him.
Directly with all of you who've supported this show and made it what it is today. On December 9th, 2025, I received a legal demand letter from lawyers representing Congressman.
By the way, Sean Ryan's biggest fucking negative here, his speech pattern sounds like he's AI. This is a real video. But for some reason, when he talks to the camera like this, he sounds like the AI speech pattern. I don't know if they modeled it off him or what.
The show and made it what it is today. On December 9th, 2025, I received a legal demand letter from lawyers representing Congressman Dan Crenshaw. They are threatening to sue me for defamation because of comments I made on my podcast about a message that he sent me. They want me to remove content, issue a public apology, and stop talking about him. I'm not going to do any of that. Let me give you full context so you can judge for yourself. What I originally said a while back I commented on my show about Congressman Crenshaw throwing an extremely expensive party and the fact that he seems to have become quite wealthy during his time in Congress. I raised questions about how a congressman making
You're invited to Dan Crenshaw's end of the 30s 40th birthday party. Country music legend, somebody, Steve Aoki, the DJ. I don't know. Whatever. It's a big party, I guess. 2 days.
$174,000 a year can afford that kind of a lifestyle. These are legitimate questions. And to be honest, I didn't even mention Dan Crenshaw's name in that initial conversation. I just brought up the fact that he was having Steve Aoki, a major DJ.
Also, I think that if you're trying to set the record straight, clear the record, and give exactly what you said, then you should have had the clip teed up. You should have said, here's the clip, the only clip where we talk about Dan Crenshaw.
Spend at his party. And then, let's fast forward a couple years.
Oh, okay.
And
well, there's the clip.
They got Steve Aoki DJing their 40th birthday party. How does that happen?
I don't have firsthand experience in this. I have often questioned the same thing.
These are legitimate questions. Multiple news outlets have reported on concerns about congressional insider trading and members of Congress, including Congressman.
I think that Dan Crenshaw said it, the SEAL Team 6 thing, to be like more like that. I'm a cool guy like you, and we have the same friends. We should talk, and maybe I'll do an interview or something, right? Like, I want to change your mind. I want to get you on my side. Not out of the kindness of his heart, but Dan Crenshaw wants good publicity, not bad publicity, right? I would have never in a million years thought him saying that to Sean Ryan was threatening to kill him. Like, you're just a fucking bitch, dude.
Crenshaw actively trading stocks while having access to non-public information that affects those very stocks. I'm not the only person asking these questions, but apparently I'm the one that got under Dan's skin. After I made those comments, Congressman Crenshaw sent me an Instagram message. I'm going to publish the actual screenshot so you can see for yourself right here. Here's what it says.
Now listen, hey Sean, you have the ability to contact your fellow team guy if you've got a problem with me or have questions about how I'm getting rich. Some of my boys at SEAL Team 6, told me about your indirect swap at me. From the comment you made, it sounds like you have some beliefs that are based on trendy narratives instead of facts. Right? So he says, hey, you could contact somebody if you need to, if you got a problem with me or whatever. We can mutually discuss that through a third party, but this isn't true, what you said, and you took a swap at me. Does anybody think this is a death threat? Maybe he shouldn't have even sent this message. He should have just brushed it off, right? But does anybody think it's a death threat? Like, what the fuck?
Hey, Sean, you have the ability to contact your fellow team guy if you've got a problem with me or have questions about how I'm getting rich. Some of my boys at 6 told me about your indirect swipe at me. From the comment you made, it sounds like you have some beliefs that are based on trendy narratives instead of facts. Now, let me be clear about what I saw when I read that message. A sitting United States congressman who happens to be a former Navy SEAL sent me a message saying, my boys at 6 told me about my criticism of him. My boys at 6. That means SEAL Team 6.
I mean, as if pretending that fucking Dan Crenshaw fucking sends Navy SEALs out on missions. What the fuck?
Development Group, the most elite special operations unit in the United States military and arguably the world. When I received that message, in the context of me criticizing him, I interpreted it as threatening. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe he just meant that some guys he used to work with told him about my comments and he wanted to have a friendly chat. But that's not how it read to me, and I said so on my podcast. Now, here's a clip of Congressman Dan Crenshaw literally saying if he ever meets Tucker Carlson, he will fucking kill him.
Have you ever met Tucker?
Now, I don't think that's a death threat either. I think that he does not like Tucker at all. And I think he's saying, like, trying to be the tough guy. Like, if I ever met him, like, I would probably come to blows kind of deal. Not like I would have him assassinated.
So I'm just curious, what would you think if Congressman Dan Crenshaw sent you a message saying his boys at 6 after he threatened to kill Tucker Carlson? Now his lawyers are claiming that my interpretation of his message is defamation. They say I accused him of threatening me with assault, which is a crime, and that I need to publicly apologize and remove the content from my show. Here's my response. No. I'm publishing their full demand letter along with my lawyer's response so that you can read both and decide for yourself whether my interpretation was unreasonable. This isn't really about whether I misunderstood a message. This is about whether a sitting member of Congress can use the threat of an expensive litigation to silence criticism. I asked questions about Congressman Crenshaw's wealth.
Well, he's not trying to silence the criticism. He sent you a message to try to clear up the criticism. And then you said he was trying to have you killed or threatening him with violence or whatever. That's what he's trying to stop with the litigation.
Those questions are fair game. He is a public official. He makes decisions that affect all of us. He trades stocks while having access to classified and non-public information. The public has a right to ask how he's getting rich while he's...
Like if Candace Owens would have asked, like, if Macron, where did he get all his money from? That's completely different. Like, how did Macron get all this money? He seems very wealthy, and I don't know if that he makes that much money. That's very different than when she says, Macron has put a hit out on my head from the French Foreign Legion or some shit, and they're coming to get me, right?
He's in office. Instead of answering those questions, he sent me a message that referenced SEAL Team 6. And when I said that message felt...
But you act like he's in charge of SEAL Team 6. Or like he lays out missions for them. You know they don't report to him, right?
Threatening, he lawyered up and demanded I apologize and shut up. And I won't. Now, what's going to happen next? If Congressman Crenshaw wants to sue me, he can. My lawyers are ready, and if he does, we're going to use the discovery process to get answers to all the questions I originally asked. Questions about his finances and how he affords the lifestyle he's living on a congressional salary. I suspect that's the last thing Dan actually wants. But here's what I think is really going on. Congressman Dan thought he could intimidate me into silence. He thought a legal threat would make me back down. But unfortunately, Dan, you're wrong. I'm a veteran. I've been in combat too. I've faced actual threats, a demand letter.
But you look like a pussy here. God, you look like such a pussy.
From a DC law firm. Unfortunately,
a whole video. If he would have just mentioned this in a show, like while he's talking to somebody, he's like, yeah, and I've got a senator, the same one that had Steve Aoki coming after him, blah, blah, blah. Like I tore up his fucking cease and desist, threw it in the goddamn trash. That would have been one thing. But to do this whole video of like, he threatened to kill me and hurt me with SEAL Team 6. And then his law, like, you look like such a fucking pussy.
Does not scare me. So let me clarify my position for the record. Congressman Crenshaw sent me a message that said, my boys at 6 told me about my criticism of him. I interpreted that as threatening. Maybe he didn't intend it that way. Maybe he's just really bad at communication. But when a congressman invokes elite special operations forces into a message to someone who's criticizing him, that person is allowed to find it threatening. And you know what? I still want answers to my original questions. How has Congressman Crenshaw accumulated significant wealth while serving in Congress? What stocks has he traded and when? Did he have access to non-public information that affected those trades? How did he afford that expensive party? These are questions every American should be asking about every member of Congress. The fact that Congressman Crenshaw's response is to threaten litigation rather than provide answers tells you everything you need to know. To my audience, I'm publishing everything.
Doesn't his speech pattern sound like he's AI?
Rather than provide answers, tells you everything you need to know. To my audience, I'm publishing everything. The original message, the demand letter, my lawyer's response, because I believe in transparency. You've made this show what it is. You deserve to see all the facts and make your own judgment. If you think I misinterpreted the message, that's fine. Reasonable people can disagree, but I don't think my interpretation was unreasonable. And I'm certainly not going to apologize for asking legitimate questions about a public official's finances. To Congressman Crenshaw, sir, if you want to clarify what you meant by my boys at 6, you're welcome to do so. If you want to answer your questions about your wealth accumulation and your stock trading, I'll give you airtime to do it. But if you think you're going to silence me with legal threats, you've badly miscalculated. I'm not going anywhere, and neither are the questions. Thank you, Dan. I'm sure we'll talk soon.
How fucking dumb. They're both stupid fucking pussies. Trying to silence him. Everybody's making a video on it now. After a drunken incident in Mexico. No. What is this? Did you guys know about this? Mariah texted me and said that Phil's house in Hawaii is for sale.
Reporter with Punchbowl News. Republican Representative
I'll be right back. I gotta grab a bottle of water.
was actually banned from international travel for 90 days after an incident this summer where I guess Crenshaw may have had a little too much to drink down in Mexico at a Republican get-together, and apparently some things happened. Now, I'm going to read you what the reporter from Punchbowl News said happened, but I gotta tell you, based on this report, this doesn't seem like the kind of thing that warrants a 90-day you can't leave the country type of punishment. Oh, and for the record, it was his own Republican caucus in the House that banned him from leaving the country because of this embarrassing incident. So here's what Punchbowl reporter Andrew Desiderio said happened. Crenshaw had an alcohol-related episode in Mexico this summer. The original incident took place while Crenshaw and other Republicans were on an official congressional delegation visit to Mexico in August, and Crenshaw was, quote, having drinks with a group of Mexican officials. One Mexican official cracked a crude joke that made a woman present uncomfortable. Crenshaw toasted the remarks. Really? Really? Like, is that what happened? Like, yeah, we had a couple drinks. Somebody made a bit of a crude joke. Crenshaw toasted it, which I don't know if he stood up and said cheers or what, or if he just laughed at it and was like, that's a good one. But regardless of what the joke was, does such an event warrant a 90-day you can't leave our country punishment? Because I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't buy that at all. I mean, I'm not saying the reporter is covering it up. I'm saying, obviously, whoever talked to the reporter and gave him this information probably didn't give him the whole story, right? I mean, laughing at a bad joke is, you know, not exactly the kind of thing that'll get you grounded for 3 months, but apparently that's what we're supposed to believe from the Republicans. But it continues here. Following this event, Crenshaw reportedly met with House Speaker Mike Johnson and House Intelligence Committee Chairman Rick Crawford. The sources told the reporter that the meeting grew heated and that Crawford apparently wanted Crenshaw kicked off of the House Intelligence Committee. Johnson reportedly did not strip Crenshaw of his seat on the committee, though the Texas Republican was banned from international travel for 90 days. Crenshaw's cartel task force
I didn't even know that was a thing they could do.
Was also disbanded. Okay, so you wanted him kicked off the committee. He's not allowed to leave the country for 90 days. You disband his cartel task force.
Have you guys ever taken a cup? We used to do this as kids, but there was a trend a while back. Have you ever guys taken a cup and put it over your mouth and like pull a vacuum, like suck in, pull a vacuum and leave it like stuck over your mouth for a few minutes, and you pull it away and like your lips are swollen after that? It was a trend, I don't know, a few months ago for the Kylie Jenner lips challenge because she had big lip filler put in. Just curious.
That's a hell of a punishment, right? But for laughing at a joke while everybody's having some drinks? No, I don't buy that for a second, and I don't think anybody else should either. There is more to this story. Unfortunately, we do not yet know what that is, but you do not attempt to kick somebody in the House of Representatives who at one point was an up-and-comer with the Republican Party. Crenshaw is,
Atsuko's thinking about buying a vaginal pump device, and she wants to know how it works.
Been dead silent for a couple years now.
Trying to explain it to her.
One of the most vocal people with Gates and Boebert and Green and all of them. But you don't get them or try to get them kicked off a committee for laughing at a crude joke. I mean, if that were the case, probably nobody in Washington, D.C. would be on any committee at all, right? Something else had to have happened. There is just no
I agree. It's got to be worse than that.
way in hell.
Yeah, you can use a vacuum cleaner, too. Just let it suck on, like a shop vac or whatever, or the hose. Just let it suck on your lips for like a few minutes. Pulls a vacuum, then let it off, and then your lips are all swelled up.
That they instituted this fairly harsh punishment for laughing at a bad joke. So here's where the call to action comes in.
So he laughed at a bad joke. He almost got kicked off his committee and was banned from travel for 90 days for laughing at a bad joke. I don't believe it.
Any Republicans out there, anybody with knowledge of this trip to Mexico that Crenshaw was on back in August, feel free to confidentially reach out to me so we can actually tell people what really happened. I would love to know. I'm sure the audience would love to know. So anybody with any information whatsoever,
all right, anyways,
let us know.
I wanted to see if anybody, did no one sneak into his party or nothing? God, this is the gayest ad ever. Blech. I figured somebody would do something over his 40th birthday party and like sneak in or cover it or something. Nothing? You guys remember when Hassan said some brave Mujahideen soldier fucked his eye out? That was fucked up. Can't say that. Yeah, I don't see anything about his... Did I miss 40th birthday? Let's just put Dan Crenshaw. Birthday party. Even Alex Jones snuck into that fucking... where they worship the owl or whatever. Nobody got into Dan Crenshaw's birthday party with a camera? Here's somebody defending him.
At people like Tucker Carlson who attack Dan Crenshaw over like his stock trades and paint this incredibly deceitful. It's like he's becoming a millionaire over stocks. And I've heard people that I know that are involved in politics hear that and they repeat it. So they assume Dan Crenshaw is doing insider trading. You go and look at his stock trades, it's a few $1,000s throughout his whole career.
Yeah.
So like,
well, that's an imaginary problem. I mean, granted, there's like the Pelosi's of the world that have absolutely been using the system.
Oh, yeah, it's got to be the Pelosi's.
There are plenty of, now Dan's not one of them, but there are plenty of crooks there in Congress that are manipulating the system and insider trading, and that's a huge problem. You're correct. Dan's not part of that, but a lot of people are.
But I see that as a good thing. When people are going after you over the things that you haven't done to attack you, that means they don't have a real problem with anything you've done, so they got to go make up one.
That's right.
So
that's right.
Kudos to him for like doing all that he did in the military and then put in his, still serving his country. Get people like Tucker Carlson who attack Dan Crenshaw over like his stock trades and paint this incredible.
I think Dan Crenshaw owns a lot of real estate, doesn't he? He's going to throw... Oh, Dan Crenshaw went viral over Bud Light.
Stupid ad campaign. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to throw out every single Bud Light we've got in the fridge. All right, well, I guess that was easy. Saw Bud Light's stupid ad campaign. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to throw out every single...
Crap. He yelled at a 10-year-old. This is 3 years old.
Republican Congressman Dan Crenshaw appeared at a Tea Party event recently where a young girl, a 10-year-old girl, asked him a question.
God, you guys remember when the Tea Party was a thing?
About something he had said about Jesus. Not
the Tea Party is what spun up a Turning Point, in case you guys didn't know that.
Not that long ago. And this question, again, from a young child, apparently...
That's why Charlie Kirk's never had a fucking job. Never had a fucking job. A mega donor from the Tea Party just threw a ton of money into Charlie Kirk.
Triggered Crenshaw so much that he started yelling at the young girl because she correctly quoted him. Take a look at Dan Crenshaw absolutely losing it here, and then pay attention to the crowd's response.
On a 10-year-old.
To give context to anyone who hasn't heard, Crenshaw said, quote, "The most important thing here is that we have important hero archetypes that we look up to. Jesus is a hero archetype, Superman is a hero archetype. Real characters too. I could name 1,000. Rosa Parks, Ronald Reagan," end quote. I can't wrap my head around this.
Well, I'll help you. Put a period after the word Jesus and don't question my faith.
Wow.
You moron.
Yeah, you don't talk to a kid like that. Boom.
Don't question my faith. You guys can ask questions about all of these things and I will answer them. But don't question my faith.
I can question your faith if this is what you said.
That's... I mean, you can read the quote again. But nowhere in that quote am I saying Jesus is not real. That's a ridiculous statement.
Do you really want to trust somebody with that kind of temperament that can absolutely lose their mind when a young child asks them to clarify something they said? Because that's all she was doing. She wasn't trying to pull a gotcha. She was saying, hey, listen, this was your quote where you...
It wasn't that bad, but he needed to handle it different. So the quote is, the important thing is that we have societal hero archetypes that we look up to. Jesus is a hero archetype. Superman is a hero archetype. Real characters too. I could name thousands. So he's saying real characters too. So he is implying that Jesus is fake. Jesus and Superman are the fake ones. Then he says real characters too.
Clarify that. You know, do you want to maybe reword it a little bit? And he got so irate, started yelling about his Christian faith. And the crowd, of course, turned on him. Well, at least most of the crowd, I guess. Because in the extended version of that clip, right towards the end, when the filming stops, a couple of folks in the crowd start chanting, "Let's go, Brandon." They were trying to diffuse the situation because the crowd had turned so far against Dan Crenshaw, who, as you saw in that clip, continued to berate the young girl because that's the kind of person that he is. You know, Dan Crenshaw, and we've talked about this, he puts out these videos of him pretending to essentially be some kind of superhero, super spy, soldier guy, repelling.
God, the cringy video where all the Texas people are like superheroes that he calls them. He's like, I need backup. And they're like jumping out of planes and shit.
To speeches like he's the biggest, toughest guy in the world. Dude, you can't even handle mild questioning from a 10-year-old girl. And you're going to try to convince us that you're some kind of big, mean, macho guy? No, you could have calmly handled that situation and said, hey, listen, I understand your concern here. And just for clarification, obviously, I wasn't implying that Jesus is fake. You know, certainly not. That, you know, sometimes when you say things in the heat of the moment, you forget to put a pause in there. But clearly, I meant to put a pause. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to clarify what I previously said. That's how he could have handled it. Boom, done. No viral video showing what a creep this guy really is. But this is what happens when you have people with these ridiculous short fuses, people who cannot think on their feet, which is Crenshaw, and that is not going to serve him well. Crenshaw has bigger ambitions, by the way, than just being a member of the House of Representatives. And if this is how he responds to being called out, not even called out, to being questioned about something he said, imagine.
All right. I want to see what this is. This is not on the playlist for tonight, but it says Appalachia's disappearing mountain man.
2 drops of groundhog oil.
Oh, no. That hit close to home, huh? 2 drops of groundhog oil.
2 drops of groundhog oil will cure the inner ear infection, and it will do it in less than 10 minutes. And y'all really should go up the holler.
How the fuck do you get oil out of a groundhog, bro? You mean grease or something? Neither one of us can say oil. That's right. It's a traditional folk remedy for muscle pain, joint issues, respiratory problems like the croup, often in alpine regions in Appalachia. So it is fat. It's rendered fat.
Can you show us? Yeah. Do you want to go now? Yeah. How far is it? It's not far at all. All right. It's going to ride. Yeah, I'm game. What's the name, by the way? Yeah.
I like these weird, I like these channels. I wish I could run a channel like this where you just go interview just some random weird person. I wanted to start a show at one time, basically on the premise that like everybody has a story, and then go find like normal fucking people and be like, well, what's going on? You know, and just ask them about their life or their history, their family, or whatever the most interesting thing about them, the area they live in, whatever, and do shows like that.
Daily chilling. I'm always here. I was playing up the hill like my brother. I come out wrong way with them. The whole story got shut down. You go in the hall. You are going up the hall. But yeah. Oh man, get mad at me and run me off. First time I was 12. Came right here. Home away from home.
You got your Trump back hat.
Yeah.
Do you think he's doing a good job? The Appalachian Mountain Man, whether from development, technology, drugs, or poverty, the traditional Appalachian lifestyle is under threat. We want to know how much of it remained.
Even he wasn't a Trump fan. Damn, dude.
The mountains of Kentucky, where we found a man who embodies it like none other.
I mean, in my lifetime, I've had 7 encounters with them.
Now, until we met Delhi, it seemed like there were no mountain men left. Instead, we met people like these, honest settlers who had moved to Kentucky from the north. As we drove deeper into the hills, we met former tobacco farmers.
I could bring you to about 20 fucking people right now that are exactly like this guy. What do you mean they're disappearing?
Are y'all both from this area? Yeah, I am. How's it changed in your guys' lifetime?
Changed quite a bit. Moving in.
Really? From where? Even here in the sticks are tourists and transplants, though, like this man from Maine.
When did you move here?
2019. They've really accepted me. They've accepted me because it is rich in parts of Kentucky. So people, they make do with what they can over here.
This was all the real Appalachia, too. But a root-picking, living off the grid mountain man, we're starting to think we may not find him. But then, in a remote town, a man directed us into the woods.
Go 52. Hit 52. You run in 52. One of them take you to Baylorville. Doesn't take you to Irvin. You make a left. Up the fort. At the fort. You go down there about 3 or 4 miles, buddy.
We followed his instructions and ended up deep in the middle of a forest, well out of cell service. That's where we spotted Delhi.
Snakes, coyotes, bear. I probably had more encounters with bears than anybody around here. I mean, in my lifetime, I've had 7 encounters with bears. And you just can't feel them. I grew up on a self-sufficient farm. We grow our own food. We make our own cornmeal. We raise our own hogs. You know, make our own sausage, hams, cure them.
Is anyone self-sufficient now?
They might be some here and there, but...
This is not Delhi's property. He's just mowing the grass. Owner is in prison.
Ain't really known about. To me, it's dead. Compared to what it was when I grew up.
This just looks like one of my uncles. Like, I don't know what we're interviewing here.
Every evening, you could just cruise down and stop at every parking lot and talk to somebody. And like I said, I know everybody. Of course, a lot of people my age are dying off now.
We're not that old.
No, but there's a lot of dope problems coming into this town. It's killed a lot of people.
What kind of dope?
The meth, the heroin. It's killed a lot of people. Fentanyl. I mean, I buried a lot of good drinkers. I'm only 46.
Why do you think drugs hit this area so hard?
God damn, that's a rough 46, brother. I'm only 22 years. You wouldn't believe it. I'm only 22 years old.
I'm not sure. I wish I did. Because, I mean, knowing that might could solve the problem.
Yeah.
But, and I do a lot of walking. My car's broke down, and I walk all the way over. How far is that from 11 miles?
That's definitely one of my uncles. I might be related to this guy.
You walk there? Yeah, 2 hours, 45 minutes.
I was going to ask, what do people do for groceries? Is that the town? Is that where they have a grocery store?
Yes. Urban, up here, it's all Stanton also.
So you said there's a holler around here?
Yes, lots of hollers.
So for someone who's never been or doesn't know what a holler is, what is a holler?
A holler lies in between 2 or 3 or 4 mountains, It's the valley in between. Like I said, I was born and raised there. And I can walk up that road and I know exactly where to go and shoot up the hill to come out over on Highway 213 or right here. I know where I'm coming out when I go over that hill and get to Pittsburgh. And y'all really should go up the holler. There's a...
Can you show us?
Yeah.
Can we go now?
Yeah.
How far is it?
It's not far at all.
All right, let's go on a ride.
Yeah, I'm game.
All right. We can film some stuff.
Yeah, he don't have to walk nowhere. Hell yeah.
What's the name, by the way?
Deli.
Good old Uncle Joe.
All right.
Deli Chewin.
All right, so yeah, we're going here. This guy got some World War II memorabilia.
That was her man, and he's kind of a weird dude. He's locked up now. He escaped, and they run him for about a week. They gave him 30 years. Yeah, there we go. Woo! Get a little air. Get that old lady going.
So he's over there fucking that guy's old lady while he's in prison.
4 windows down, 8 miles there. The little store got shut down.
Oh my God, my uncle's the first person who ever told me that joke. I swear to God. We got in my uncle's car, my Uncle Matthew, and it was me and Cody, my cousin, his son, and we were talking about how fucking hot it was, and he said, I got that new 255 air conditioner. And we were kids. We were like, oh, okay, whatever. And he's like, 2 windows down, 55 miles an hour. The first time I ever heard that joke. I mean, I've heard it thousands of times since then. The first time I ever heard that joke was in Elizabethton.
Get a little air. Get that 480 going on. 4 windows down, 8 miles there. The little store got shut down. Now you got Dollar General. They're trying to have a store every 5 miles. Everyone should be able to walk to a dollar store is what they're looking for. My dad was a Church of God Pentecostal preacher.
Oh, so that's where you get your energy from, probably.
And this little building up here on your right up here around the curve. That was the coffee.
Dollar Store, just so you guys I'm sure you guys are aware of this. Dollar Store, when I was little, we went to the Dollar Store because it was the cheapest place and we had to drive further. They're trading out that model for convenience, but they're raising their prices. I've been watching a bunch of people do Walmart versus like local grocery store versus Dollar General. And Dollar General is usually more expensive than going to Walmart, but it's close.
So there was a steel mill out here. Iron furnace. Yes, that's it. That's where we're going. Years ago, my daddy owned it and didn't know it. It was actually part of where his home place. And my daddy owned that third-grade education, and he signed it over to the federal government. And now it's part of the
My daddy owned the iron ore foundry and didn't know it. He only had a 3rd-grade education, and he accidentally signed it over to the government.
It's beautiful. It's a work of art down this mountain. Let me tell you, walking, it's almost 1 mile. It's as hard to go down this hill as it is to go up. It's just a one hill. I'm going to tell you, I miss home. Nobody loved that piece of...
I'm going to see one of my uncles on here one day.
Man no more than me, except for one. And that was the man I was named after, my father. See, my daddy was 62 when he had me. Mama was 22. I was the oldest.
God damn! My daddy was 62 and my mama was 22. Sounds like Carolyn Levitt.
His second family. So we're in the holler right now. We're in the holler. You are going up the holler.
So this is a one-way road, right?
Yes, it is. Unless you have a horse or a dirt bike or a four-wheeler. A woman died at 80. She was fixing to turn 80 when she died. That's about 3 or 4 years ago. I got nephews. And these kids had it over me. So back in the day growing up, people say, that's your grandpa. No, that's my dad. There was over 3,000 people from there on up these hollers. You can walk through the woods still today and find a little bit of ruins of old homes and stuff,
So there are thousands of people who lived in here, and then now it's really thinned out. Oh, yeah. But now you have people coming back, people with money and whatnot, moving back in here.
Right. This wasn't operational very long, but this is one of the biggest iron ore furnaces of that time.
It's huge.
Oh, yeah.
You ever climb up it?
I have been on top.
My daddy owned that. He didn't know it.
They came in, and I'll show you right up here. There was a spot right over here next to this one hole bed. And the story was a moonshiner dynamite. Well, years later, I found out the rest of the story. My dad signed this over to the government. My dad was raised over yonder on the hill. Later years, he took his home place where he was born and raised, 4-room house, and jacked it up with mules and moved it down past where that big house is. My grandpa was born and raised here, Walker Sheila.
Are you? What's your your heritage? Scots Irish?
On my dad's side, German Irish, and on my mom's side, Cherokee.
Cherokee. So this is Cherokee land.
Nah, everybody says that. Nah. If you're in the South, everybody just says that. And then everybody else has to agree with it because they say it too.
They was here, and I'm gonna tell you right up here in this one field, I've seen some of the prettiest arrowheads that a man could, and even spear points. They were here. Indian wars that happened many years ago, which was even before this.
Yeah, 17 whatever.
And the slaves built this.
And he probably don't know a bunch of these stories. It was just told to him, and you just accept it, right?
There's no mortar holding that together.
They just stack those rocks.
Yes, one stone holds another.
Also, I noticed coming in here, you got a summer camp out here now.
Yes, that's Alder's Gate. That's part of the Methodist organization.
So that's crazy. So yeah, so now you got people coming back in, summer camp, population goes out, and then over time, they come back.
That camp was established in the early 70s, right before I was born. And I mean, I grew up.
Everybody from this area. Well, we're a little bit Cherokee. I've got a little bit of Native. Everybody says that. Then they like freak out when they get their when they do their DNA test, and it's like 0%.
I was telling you about raising the hogs. They had camp all summer long, And we got all the slop. They had 2 cans, and we had 2 cans.
Now, if you're enjoying this video, please subscribe. Our mission at Roku News is to capture the world without bias or fear. That's what we're trying to do with this video and everything else we make. Also, if you're enjoying this video, consider becoming a Roku member. You can scan the QR code on the screen, and this will take you to become one. Right now, it's a Black Friday sale, 50% off.
This is a cool channel if you guys want to check it out, Roku News.
Every single morning, members get 1 email to their inbox with original reporting from our team or a story that breaks down one of the biggest topics in news. So thank you for watching, and back to the video.
And for the redbird. And I mean, all that stuff like that, I'm a big nature freak. Birds of prey, I love birds of prey. I can walk up to hawks and owls, no problem. No, I can't bird call. But I mean, as far as running into a hawk or owl or any bird of prey, I can pretty much just walk over and pick it up. Been like that my whole life. I love them. One lady stopped me, I just picked a hawk up on the side of the road and was petting it and talking to it. And they were coming to this camp. And she stopped and said, "Young man," she said, "I'll give you $200 for that bird." I stepped back and spoke to him and, "What'd you do that for?" I said, that bird don't belong in no cage no more than I do. Keep your
That didn't happen so much, it unhappened things that already happened.
money. Buy yourself a cheeseburger when you head back down my tackle. Yeah.
It's an iron ore furnace.
Now, they just done this, these crazy looking stones, about 6 years ago. That's crazy. I used to build my fire. Oh, man, get mad at me.
It's a big old-timey blast furnace.
Run me off. First time I was 12. I came right here, home away from home. My castle. Downey's castle. This one had some hell parties here, buddy. I've seen them drunk, try to climb the walls and fall the top.
And now it's part of like a national forest park thing, so they keep it.
Everything.
Crazy. You guys are crazy kids.
Oh, yeah.
Must be good for a rock climber.
Yeah, it's like that Dark Knight. Dark Knight Rider.
Climb up the Dark Knight.
Now, this was part of the charcoal house. It's been buried for years.
You're like a proper tour guide. Like, you should be doing this for us.
Nobody's been telling me for the last 2 months, "Hey, you need to do a TikTok. Dude, you gotta have the equipment and stuff." I said, "I don't put me right now. I'm like, you eat sometimes, And I said, "You want to see me do it? Exactly. Trust me, I'll get it done." One lady told me, she said, "Dale, just what going through life, what you do, and the jobs that you do, and the crazy things you run into."
This is like when we first started using iron, right? This is like from the fucking late 1800s. That's why it's still made of stone and shit, not of metal. What they would make is something called pig iron, and it's strong, but it's incredibly brittle. And we didn't know what had changed to make it more ductile, like regular, like we're talking about steel. This is not steel. This is iron, which was incredibly strong, but like it would break like glass. Oh, you just never been to the South. There's just tons of guys walking around in busted ass tennis shoes, jean shorts, and they'll have a shirt over their shoulder, but they won't fucking wear it.
I might be walking along with a deer, walk right up to me, and I love it. I love it. If you've never had that happen, man, you're missing out. Back in the winter, I was walking. It's cold, but beautiful. Just so beautiful and white. And a little road just walked up to me like she known me forever. I patted her, knocked her, and went on down my way. Well, they'll be scared to death,
Yeah.
No fear.
You got great attitude, man. The more people have that attitude. Right. They wouldn't be so stressed and anxious.
I mean, I'm all about peace and love. And about helping people. And it kills me to see the way the world is today. It does.
I noticed your hat. You got your Trump back hat.
Yeah.
What do you think he's doing a good job?
Some things I've been okay with, but there have been a lot of things that, the way he's done the VA and people's, their money, their Social Security or whatever.
Yeah, Medicaid.
And stuff like that. He's cut these people down. They ain't got enough money to live. Like I said,
So at least he knows that. He's like, that's good. I mean, he's deep in Kentucky and knows that Trump is fucking people over.
We've been a Church of God. We do a food bank every Thursday and Friday. I volunteer. And I've been helping them now for about a year and a half. When I started, you had maybe 400 a month. Now, we're serving as much as 650 to 800 people a month. I mean, it's a lot of old people, And of course, you got a lot of homeless people.
Yeah.
It's crazy to believe in this little town, but the last I heard, there was 560-something homeless people in this little town. And that's inside the city limits. They don't count people like me, They don't even know it's homeless. But I wish I could change it, you know. I can't. I'd like to. I'd like to be president, you know.
You got our votes.
Right.
Vote for Daley. Vote for Daley 2020.
That would be bad, wouldn't it? For a multi-billion-dollar man like Donald Trump to get beat by poor old Daley.
Yeah, so they take the pig iron. They would take the pig iron and make billets out of it, melt it down. It takes incredible heat because they just put like fucking iron ore in there, like raw mined iron ore to separate all the impurities, make slag on top, and you take the slag off. But then you make ingots of pigs or ingots, and then we use that in the steel mills.
People like you.
Oh, yes. Going up the hall out there. My dad was a medicine man. My dad made her own cough syrup, groundhog oil, rattlesnake oil.
What's groundhog oil?
Groundhog oil is actually when you fry the groundhog to eat, and groundhog is pretty good eating. You save the grease. The lard will all settle to the bottom, and everything on top is oil. 2 drops of groundhog oil will cure the inner ear infection, and it will do it in less than 10 minutes.
You put it in your ear?
2 drops. You can go to the doctor and still lay and suffer for 4 days and pay $150 for a bunch of medicine and still fight for 4 or 5 hours in 10 minutes.
Do people still make this stuff?
No. I want to, but the groundhog population, it kind of thinned out for a while.
Right, all the rattlesnakes eating them.
Right. Like this one big stone up here that tells everything about it when it was made. 1868, I believe.
When people ask about like Appalachian,
Yeah, 1868. That's incredible.
What makes someone like an Appalachian person?
I don't know. I guess it's just people that was born here.
Now we're making stone furnaces to make iron in the 1800s.
And raised here, you know, and country people, Appalachian people. I mean, like I said, you got a lot of people coming in. Them people ain't Appalachian, I promise.
A lot of people told us the thing that makes people in this part of the country unique is, they're hardworking people.
Yes.
Yet you also have in this part of the country there's so much poverty. And normally you think, hard work means money. But in this part of the country it doesn't really seem that way.
You guys know, you want to learn something? I'll put on my teacher's hat. The reason they call it pig iron is because when it would come out of the furnace in the big like kettle things they fucking melted it in, they didn't have molds, right? Like we do now. So instead, what they would do is they would dig holes in the ground and they would pour it straight into the ground, and the holes are rounded on the bottom, but you would have like a main line here and an area to pour. Right, so you would pour everything in here, and then it would come out to these little areas to make the ingots like this. These are all supposed to be the same shape. They're not, but anyways, it all come out to these little ingots, and you might have 8 or 10 of these. They're out, they go all the way down, and they said that it looked like piglets nursing on a pig, and that's why they called it pig iron. Or at least that's what I was always told. I could have just made up an impressive lie that I was just told, but that's what I was told.
A lot of people work hard and don't have a lot of money.
Right. I don't really know how to explain that. Like the tobacco and stuff years ago, everybody was working, and you could always get a job. Baling hay, cutting tobacco, cane, what they call river cane. I go cut cane, get all the little brushes off of them, bundle them, 100 to a bundle, you know, and sell them 10, 25 cents a stick. I mean, that's like tobacco. Used to everybody grow tobacco, and if not, well, you was working for somebody who did grow. You know, you were chopping tobacco or flipping tobacco or something, and making money right here at home. And like I said, when this was in operation, there was over 3,000 people. Crazy. Seriously, I'll pack a big old bag, you know. I have my whole life.
I've really noticed around here, pretty much everybody does. Yeah. Guns too, for most people with shotguns.
All kinds of guns. A lot of people, you know, they're feared of what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
What could happen?
I'll hear it.
Trying to get ready, you know.
Yeah.
I wish I could find what I'm looking for. Now, we just call them cinders. But what this glass rock is the slag off of the iron ore that was dumped.
So this is iron?
No, this is actually, it's more like glass. Beautiful blue. I've seen some really nice arrowheads made out of some of this stuff. Like I said, nobody loved this place, my home place, no more than me, except for my daddy, the man I was named after. May he rest in peace. You know, I feel that God's put me here for a reason. Not sure what. You know, I'm still searching. But I believe there's, God's got a reason for me to be here. Don't talk about it. Listen, how peaceful. Ain't nothing no better than to be sitting there around a fire, bonfire. I used to have a bonfire every evening. People like, I'm gonna hang with you. We know with nothing else going on, Jelly got a bonfire on. He probably cooking fish or turkey.
River cane is just like river cane. It's called giant cane or giant river cane. It's like it's used like the same way you'd use bamboo, like a cane pole, or to build shelters or structures or thatch roofs or a shed or something for your animals to stay in.
But yeah, I miss it. I miss that. You know, a lot of the old people's gone. But actually, there's none of the real old people anymore. Like my dad. They're all gone. Come up here to just hang out. I'll let somebody show up. All barns like that.
They gonna take him back so he can finish mowing that yard or what?
I come out wrong with them. Shortcut, you know. It's going to take up 10, 15 minutes to drive around, but you can be there. I'm walking up the mountain. Army Baker was born and made me a Kentucky Colonel. So they said, you are a Kentucky Colonel? I said, mm-hmm. What's that mean? Well, it's a club, organization in Kentucky. And most Kentucky Colonels are governors, judges. Somehow, you know, this old outlaw became a Kentucky Colonel. They gave me a test. I'm thinking I stupid or something. Boy, when I got done, what's my phone? Somebody was saying something we were lost ago, and I said, hey, look. Governor of Kentucky did not make me a Kentucky Colonel because I was a dumbass. I said, he made me one because I was fairly smart. Rabbit, squirrel, we got everything. There's no
I bet.
over here. You guys eat squirrel? Oh, yeah. I don't like squirrel. I never had it. I love rabbit.
Squirrel's greasy. My mama likes squirrel, or liked squirrel when she was alive.
Deer, elk. I don't care for bear. Be careful.
Groundhog's greasy. Blech.
Frog legs. What about roadkill? No, I'll pass on roadkill. Why is that? Well, been there too long. If I'm going to eat it, it's going to be fresh and I'm going to kill it. Because there ain't nothing better than fried rabbit, gravy, biscuit. I'll say, make your tongue slap your brains out. That's how good it is. My older sister buried there. The Colville Cemetery. Boy, it was small when I was a child. It's a big cemetery now. And right up there on your right, this is the steel wall. That was the cemetery. Where you get gas pump. Man, I mean, today you can't go to the store and get a drink, a pack of cigarettes, and a bag of chips, and it don't cost you $20. I remember coming to the Colville store, fill the old Suzuki back up, get a 6-pack of LH, 2-pack of Marlboros, a big old turkey sandwich dressed, bag of chips and candy bars, still ain't changed well.
One thing that came through talking to Deli was that despite being extremely poor, he still gave back to others, part of the Appalachian culture.
I helped at the church up here, giving out food. I said, I do. He ran up and thanked me, shook hands with me. He said, you don't know, man, how much I helped me and my family. You know, a lot of good American people are a bad rate right now. And I mean, you know, a lot of the work I do, you got Mexicans coming in and taking it. Where I used to get 12 jobs, you know, to do in a month, I might get one. It's that bad right now. I've done, since the snow, last snow, I've done 1, 2, 3 roofs and 3 little plumbing jobs. And I boxed in and added for one of my old school teachers. And other than that, thank God that people do need a grass mower. And I'm good at it. And you can drive around the road there and pull into that one house and look at all them beautiful roses. I've done that. I planted all of them. There's close to 50. Most prettiest. And the lady said, I don't know how you grow. What's it take to grow roses like that? Same thing it does to raise a child right. Same thing it does to raise a good dog or something. Love it and love what you're doing. And it grows. Most people, like my buddy, he said, man, we planted 15.
Love.
Only one lived. I planted 40 last year and never lost a one. They say real quick, I'm good at landscaping, you know, professionally. And, but yeah, you know, to do stuff like that, you gotta put the love into it. Whatever you're doing.
Gotta love them roses, boys.
That you can.
Before leaving, Deli told us the most shocking thing he did all day.
I don't fear no dog, no man. And, you know, like a dog, if they sense fear, then you're in trouble.
Yeah. Is there anything you do fear?
Just the good Lord Jesus. That's all I fear, buddy. People go on about the storms and scared to death, you know. I live in a box right now. Been a rough few years. And a friend of mine allowed me to move in what was a chicken house. And what it is a box off the horse truck. When all these big storms are coming, you know, people message, oh God, what are you going to do? I'm going to go home and go to bed. I'm going to pray to the good Lord Jesus and then I'm going to go sleep. I got up next morning and trees were broke this way, that way, but none of them come towards that box.
Deli represents both the best and worst of Appalachia. He lived in poverty without a home or a car and said drugs had devastated his generation. But you'd be hard-pressed to find his compassion, wisdom, and anywhere outside.
You're telling me this guy did drugs. Now bullshit. Now bullshit. He's a goddamn Kentucky colonel.
Without a home or a car and said drugs had devastated his generation. But you'd be hard-pressed to find his compassion, wisdom, and knowledge anywhere outside of these mountains. For better and for worse, Appalachia made Deli who he is.
His wisdom. He told y'all a bunch of lies and then something about milking a groundhog to cure an earache.
And there aren't many Delis left. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe if you enjoyed it. We have some phenomenal content coming out from Arkansas and Mississippi. Our goal is to capture the world without bias or fear, and that's what we do on this page. Also, if you're still here, consider becoming a Roku member with the QR code on the screen. Right now, it's a Black Friday sale.
That was a good video, guys.
Membership. That gets you
I enjoyed it.
Every morning, breaking down the biggest stories in the news, and also our on-the-ground reporting. Thank you for watching. We hope you have a great day. Do you consider yourself a redneck?
Yes, sir. I'm a redneck. Hey, I got a redneck too, buddy.
I got a redneck right here, buddy. Oh, God. Population 13. What is this one? The fuck is he dragging? The other headlights? What is going on?
Here.
Nothing like good old home sweet home, I guess.
Everybody is just like trying to find out everybody else's business.
No wonder J.D. Vance turned on all of us.
People don't know a lot about this part of the country.
This is just the old coal country. Scrap, get by.
With the drugs, does that affect everybody?
I would tell you this. When I ran a railroad, when I worked for the railroad, my town is a lot better off than a lot of those Kentucky, Southwest Virginia, little small towns.
Or is that mostly young people?
while the people.
I mean, we're not good. We got poor people and homeless people and trailer parks and, you know, just like this video. But there was a lot of people in worse shape the further north we went on the railroad.
Back here, they live in buses and campers. Trump took.
They did a follow-up with that guy. The same guy we just watched, or they changed the title of the video. It says "Inside Appalachia's Most Stereotyped Town." It's the same guy.
And cheered. It was like a feel-good movie.
You say hillbilly. People who live out here, they call themselves hillbillies.
Trump took over. We stood up and cheered. It was like a feel-good movie.
You say
That's what elected him right there. When Trump got elected, we stood up and cheered. And now look how they're still living. What got better?
hillbillies. People who live out here, they call themselves hillbillies.
It ain't like hillbillies are what you think they are.
Martin County, Kentucky. Poverty rate is 48% and the water undrinkable. We came to investigate claims of a water crisis and ended up in one of the most remote hollers in Appalachia. This is that story.
This is awesome. A little news thing. I mean, the town kind of sucks, but.
So is the water actually brown?
Yeah, I won't drink it. Yeah, I drink it, but I think it's cancer.
So you're saying like you won't drink the tap water?
No, I don't. It's been a long time. Years, I'd say. Long time.
And the water's like brown and comes out the sink or what?
Yeah, when it turns on, yeah.
We followed that man's directions and ended up in Inez, the last town before West Virginia. But then we kept driving into the mountains. As we got closer to the Kentucky-West Virginia border, the businesses disappeared. There were nothing but occasional homes, often dilapidated. People we talked to said they had no clean water and their work was at least an hour away. We drove for miles along the border that separates the states. Then we found this turnoff.
Damn, somebody's been scrapping, huh?
We're just trying to understand a bit about, I don't know, how people live here. How is it very different from other parts of the country?
You're laid back. Things much stress anymore.
Do you work or what kind of work did you do before?
God damn, that's a professional mullet right there.
Disabled.
Disabled.
Yeah, I used to do all kinds of different things. Security guard was my last job.
I imagine there's not much work.
When you look at the, you know, the wild whites of West Virginia or whatever, they basically had a family system of signing up for disability and getting disability checks. A lot of people do that, especially in the South. And then it's crazy that they'll be the same people on Facebook every goddamn day talking about, you shouldn't be able to buy soda with food stamps, these damn immigrants and blah, blah, and they're all fucking disabled.
Imagine that.
Lying to get disability. Nothing wrong with being disabled. They're lying to get disability.
No, they ain't. They ain't much work here at all. You get work, you gotta go 45 minutes per hour away. It's not worth it, especially with the gas prices.
It seems like one thing people...
I'm disabled, but I wouldn't fake an injury to be disabled.
People in the country, especially in this part of the country, are much more, they understand nature a lot better. Yeah. They're a lot better with their hands.
I used to be an herber back when I was younger.
So what kind of stuff would you make?
You know
how many people live in here overall?
There's me and my wife and my brother. I've got another brother that lives in the camper, but he's gone. Monica, there's 2 people live there, and then my sister and her husband.
Maybe we'll take a walk up there and see.
Well, all right, see you guys later.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna go check it out. I guess it's brother-in-law down the street. All right, so one person who spoke to us off camera told us it's a very peaceful area until people get drunk or high. It's a highway. And this person said meth. They said everyone's on meth. Everyone. That's not the first time I heard that. So it seems that meth is a big problem.
I want to build that house up there.
Attack dogs.
What made you move out here?
We used to live on other end county, and the coal company sunk their land up there, and they switched us out.
People don't know a lot about this part of the country.
This is just old coal country. Since coal's down, this country's down.
What do people do now?
Well, we'll scrap to get by. There ain't no jobs. There ain't nothing. I got disabled.
Trump's bringing back clean coal.
I quit working in 25 years. I just took everything that I had to scrape by, you know, went to the doctor. Supposed to have oxygen, but there's hardly oxygen on this floor there.
You got the machete, though?
Yeah, I got a machete.
You say around here is pretty peaceful?
Yeah, it's a peaceful country. We usually don't lock our doors or nothing. This is all family at this house. It's hard getting by without no job, you know. You gotta do what you gotta do. I've been jumping here and there.
So you get the metal and you get the parts off those cars and you just...
I do think one thing, so pre-World War II, families lived together and stayed together, okay? Like, it wasn't nothing for you to, like, live at your family's house until you got married. And then once you got married, your family owned a plot of land. And on that land, you and your wife built a house. And when you had kids and they grow up, they would build a house or move into the old homestead is what they call it, the original house. I do think that we need to go back to that because you got like, I don't know, maybe it's fucked up, but you got like built-in babysitters, you got built-in support, you can share the burden, you can share the bills, you can share the fucking mortgage on the land, you can help each other out. I would love to have like a fucking compound with my family and friends and shit that all live in the same place.
Sell them somewhere? Sell them on Facebook or sell them in town?
On Facebook.
So what do people do when they have no job? I mean, do people kind of sit inside most of the day?
Try to fiddle, try to get some money. It's hard to get money around here. I guess that's why there's so many drugs around here. This place is awful about drugs.
What kind of drugs?
It's worst. It's the worst thing than them damn fuels.
Is it always that way, or did that?
No, they just come in after the mind bloom went out.
Appalachian people are kind of famous for being like resourceful.
That's all I want's a piece of land. And I want to move my camper to it and slowly build a house and build a compound out, I think.
They make stuff. They fix stuff. What kind of stuff do you think you know and other country people out here know that city folk like us don't know?
How to live in the wild. After you've been out here, you know how. You got to. There's heat. You got to know how to take care of it.
How to live in the wild. How to live in the wild, and I can see a window unit air conditioner behind him.
My buddy is an air conditioner.
Wild, huh?
With the drugs, does that affect everybody, or is that mostly young people?
That would be cool. They have their own separate space and a little bit of distance. That's one thing that doesn't really work really well. Like when you have, you know, maybe you're living with a girlfriend or you're married or whatever, and then you have like your parents or her parents and their spouse and trying to live like that. But if you have your own little space, even if you're only 100 feet away from each other, it still gives you just enough independence where you're not afraid to ask for help or be together or hang out together or whatever, but you're also not on top of each other.
It's getting into the older folk too.
Like not to make it violent, or are they relax?
No, it just relaxes and stuff, but they do anything over.
I used to build those, not tiny houses, but you know those sheds that you buy and the repo man comes and gets them, people make payments on them or whatever. I used to build those. That's where I put that nail in my kneecap at. They're pretty easy to put together pretty quick. To be a tiny home or whatever, storage shed, it don't matter.
Here? Yeah. Because there's so many elderly people?
No, because there's nothing for them.
How long have you been living here?
I have been here on and off for the last 30 years.
How'd you end up living here from Ohio?
My dad and my mom divorced when I was little, and I didn't know my mom until I was like 14 years old. And I met her, she lived back here. So I came back here to live with her, and I got married at 18.
Having gone through 2 marriages, I'm going to get married next year.
What's mine?
All right, I got to get off this. I'll watch this all night. I'm sorry. So, I know it may not be interesting to everybody, but I'll watch it all fucking night. Let's go here. Trump's goons.
The most or least surprising bit of news I could give you, you'll have to tell me which it is. ICE under Donald Trump, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. These are the people carrying out these raids and rounding up of people in Home Depot parking lots. Trump's ICE is now hiring individuals who can barely read or write. And one guy who weighs almost 500 pounds and has been certified not fit to do any kind of work. What on earth is going on here? Trump's ICE has put together
a 500-pound ICE agent
hiring push, and they've been. I was recently in D.C. There were at bus stops. There were posters inviting people to apply for ICE, and it has not only become a national embarrassment; it's become a dangerous embarrassment as well. They want 10,000 new deportation officers on the street, and they want them there as quickly as possible. And the result is that they are packing this enforcement force with people who, according to internal complaints, can barely read or write. They can barely read or write. These are agents who will carry guns. They will detain civilians. They will make snap legal judgments about individuals that they encounter. They will process immigration cases and determine whether families get to stay together or get torn apart. And based on reports that we are getting, they are failing open book exams because they cannot read the questions at a sufficient level. Some of them can't even fill out basic paperwork without getting help. And these are reportedly not isolated outliers. This is part of the new normal of ICE. So imagine the imagery of a guy asking for your papers who can barely read your papers.
I saw him. There was a kid, a 17-year-old kid that was off campus for a high school lunch in the back of his friend's car. They let them go off campus. He was in the back seat of his friend's car, and ICE came up and busted out the fucking back window. And the whole time he's saying, he doesn't have an accent or anything. He is brown, but he's saying, I'm a U.S. citizen, and the ICE agent busts the fucking window out and says, I don't care if you're a U.S. citizen. Get out of there. Drags him out.
Now, we've talked about functional illiteracy before. We've actually talked about it in the context of Donald Trump. Functional illiteracy means technically you can read and write. You know, if I show you, if I show you my book back here, you can read the word echo. But if I hand you the book and say, read these 2 paragraphs coherently and then explain to me what they say, you kind of can't do it. And so while you can recognize words, you go to the grocery store, you can see whether it says open or closed.
They don't have comprehension skills, right? They can technically read like open close signs, but if you tell them to read a paragraph and what was that paragraph about, they have no idea.
Closed and understand I go in or I stay out, right? You can understand that. You really can't read well enough or write well enough to handle everyday tasks. And this is a growing problem in the United States. Now, a lot of recent data suggests that about 20% of American adults struggle to take basic written information, like on a job application or a legal notice, or, you know, the medical instructions you get when you're discharged from like a colonoscopy, for example. And 20% of Americans struggle to read that. Now, you might be saying, well, why is that overrepresented among these ICE applicants? And the reason is, I believe, if you're in the 80% of American adults that doesn't struggle to read and interpret and synthesize text, you probably already have a job, and you're probably not interested in seeing a billboard and going, maybe I'll apply to be an ICE officer. Now, what is even more concerning is that many people with these poor literacy skills, they are graduating high school, and this is something we've talked about on the bonus show, which is that due to a number of different problems, failing systems, lack of oversight, ability to get through using computers and whatever else, there are people who are barely literate who are graduating high school and in some cases making it to college, and they can barely read or write. That is a systemic failure as well, because we used to have guardrails that used to prevent some of this, and a lot of those guardrails have now been circumvented. Now, we can also take another angle on this, which is to look at requirements for law enforcement.
They're homeland defenders, David Pacman.
And there used to be a lot more requirement for a college degree. That has been done away with to a great extent. There used to be longer training. And now some training in some departments is like 6 weeks. I don't know for sure, but I think that there are mall security that get basically the same amount of training or close to it. And so they are trying to push through what one DHS official said is anybody that has a pulse. Now, the hypocrisy gets worse when you remember that just a couple weeks ago, Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, said the military's got to stop hiring fat people. We can't have any more fat people. And meanwhile, we learned that this new ICE recruitment effort sent a 469-pound man to the academy after the guy's doctor said, this guy cannot do any physical activity. It sounds like a punchline to some sick joke, but it's just what's going on. This is another area, by the way. The physical standards are in a free fall. The testing for physical standards is essentially an afterthought. And then just as relevantly, the agency has slipped when it comes to background checks as well. And so we've learned about tattoos linked to gangs and white supremacist groups. They are noticed much, much later than they should be. And sometimes they are dealt with and sometimes they are not. So ICE is burning through bodies almost as quickly as it hires them. Hundreds have been removed from training for failing the literacy component, for failing the fitness component or the medical screening or the background check. And you would normally see that and go, wow, we need to overhaul the whole program.
Are they not doing waivers for like because there's usually like a mile run or a 2 mile run or something for this, right?
Comes to background checks as well. And so we've learned about tattoos linked to gangs and white supremacist groups. They are noticed much, much later than they should be. And sometimes they are dealt with and sometimes they are not. So ICE is burning through bodies almost as quickly as it hires them. Hundreds have been removed from training for failing the literacy component, for failing the fitness component or the medical screening or the background check. And you would normally see that and go, wow, we need to overhaul the whole program. We can't be getting so far with so many people and then finding out they're actually not physically fit, they can't read, or whatever the case may be. Now, meanwhile, DHS is insisting that the vast majority of new hires are already experienced law enforcement officers. But if that's true, how are so many of them washing out? There's two possibilities. DHS is lying that so many of the recruits are former law enforcement, or it's true that they're former law enforcement, but they're getting a ton of former law enforcement that can't read or write, or have white supremacist tattoos, or are unable to meet the basic fitness standards. So either way, this is a problem. Now, we were told when Trump came in that we were going to get law and order. This is very much not law and order. This is the militarization of incompetence. And it's happening in an agency that, unfortunately, is already notorious for abuse and overreach. And when the people enforcing federal power don't understand the laws that they're enforcing, or potentially can't even read what the law is, the danger is essentially guaranteed. So top level, ICE transforming into a force of unchecked, unqualified troops. Micro level, we got a real problem with literacy in this country. If you are scrambling for a meaningful last-minute holiday gift and running out of real ideas,
damn, they can't even read and write. They're coming to kick down your door. Makes sense, huh? Makes perfect sense. What about that? We're shutting down China with these tariffs.
Trump's tariffs were supposed to cripple China. With almost 50% average tariff on Chinese goods, the highest in modern history, China's export machine should be grinding to a halt. Only it's not. In fact, China just posted a $1 trillion trade surplus, the first time ever.
So if China sends slightly less stuff to us, does that mean that their market gets toppled? They'll just send more shit other places. For the first time ever, they hit $1 trillion trade surplus.
And here's what's happening. Trump is either an idiot or a Chinese agent, and I think we all know which one he is. Because Trump really thought making Chinese goods
Oh my God, my white elephant gifts are here. I gotta make a video on them, but I gotta hide them from my family.
too expensive for Americans would somehow bring manufacturing back to the US, and China would lose its biggest customer. And really, part of that did work. Shipments to the US dropped 29% in November. But China knows how to play the game. Exports to Europe jumped 14.8%. Australia surged 35.8%. Southeast Asia up 8.2%. Trump's tariffs, designed to shrink Chinese trade, grew it by 5.9%, beating every forecast. Because globally, markets are replaceable, fluid, the world has other customers. And American consumers are paying the tariff. Well, China has hit a record surplus. What MAGA doesn't get is they're making China great again, which was great, but at the expense of the US, which is not so great for the US. So if the goal was to hurt China, and China just posted its best trade numbers in history, who's actually winning here? Follow for more at Cultural Perspective.
Well, not us.
Trump's tariffs were supposed to
China's
cripple
fucking
China.
killing it, dude.
Almost 50% average tariff on Chinese good, the highest in modern history. China's export.
There was a there's a video of a man yelling at us from the window while his daughter was in the car. I wonder if we got that.
A Leominster family saying that ICE agents held their 5-year-old daughter outside their home to get her father to surrender.
This isn't the right one, but
Video of the incident obtained by Telemundo. The mother can be heard demanding her daughter's return. And they tell us Edward Hipp, who is from Guatemala, had lived in the U.S. for 22 years. On Tuesday, he was driving home with his daughter when he thought he was being followed. They say he made it inside the home while agents grabbed the little girl. And at some point, Leominster police arrived and returned the child to the family. However, 2 days later,
that's not the one I'm looking for. The other one is the guys yelling out the window. Ooh, what a scary bitch.
You think he deserved that? Tell that to my 3-year-old daughter.
Hey, buddy. Sometimes bad things happen to bad people, and well, now your dad's looking up at us.
You think he deserved that?
Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to find it. That's fine. Basically, he's like yelling from the window, like, I'm a U.S. citizen. What the fuck are y'all doing? And they've got the car surrounded. His wife had to show up and get the daughter because he was afraid to go outside. They were going to fucking snatch him up.
Hegseth just humiliated himself and...
Oh, this is bad. Did you guys see the DOD? The DOD is instructing all employees to start using their own in-house AI now. It's like mandatory. It can't make like firing decisions or attacks or war plans or whatever, but you're supposed to use it for everything else.
just humiliated himself, and you love to see it, frankly. Here's what happened. On Tuesday, Hegseth unveiled a new AI chat box exclusively for military members.
Today, we are unleashing GenAI.mil. This platform puts the world's most powerful frontier AI models, starting with Google Gemini, directly into the hands of every American warrior.
It was not long after that this post appeared on the Air Force subreddit, where somebody appears to be using the chat box to ask about a hypothetical situation and whether or not it's a war crime.
It literally says, let's pretend I'm a commander and I ordered a pilot to shoot a missile into a boat. It's exactly their war crime.
Quote, let's pretend I'm a commander and I ordered a pilot to shoot a missile at a boat I suspect is carrying drugs. The missile blows up the boat. There are 2 survivors clinging to the wreckage. I order to fire another missile to blow up the survivors. Were any of my actions in violation of U.S. DoD policy? And
They literally used the DoD AI bots to prove they committed a war crime.
Answer: yes. Several of your hypothetical actions would be in clear violation of U.S. DoD policy and the laws of armed conflict. The order to kill the 2 survivors is an unambiguously illegal order that a service member would be required to disobey. Oops, 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 oops. Just in case you think that this is a one-off, Straight Arrow News was able to verify the post's claims. They had somebody enter a similar prompt, and they got a likewise response. Countdown until this gets the Grok treatment. For those of you that don't know, Elon Musk has his own AI chat box over on Twitter, and it's called Grok, and he believed that Grok's responses were too woke, so he had to retool it several times. Now, anytime you ask Grok anything about Elon Musk, it practically fillets him. Obviously, Hegseth didn't think this through, because AI is helpful, but it's super inconvenient when it's correct. But what do we expect? He was probably drunk, Hegseth just humiliated himself, and
pretty bad.
I'd love to see it, frankly.
They even went and confirmed it, like she said. Another person confirmed that this was actually a correct results. Lysandra doing her skit.
Yes, thank you, 5. Can I have a moment just by myself so that I can...
Oh, no, yeah, of course. Let's go for some space. Understand. You're good? We'll be right here. You're good?
Thank you.
You okay?
I'm okay.
Yeah, okay.
It's game time. You've got this. You've got the grief. You've got righteous anger. And God will take care of all of those who oppose you. And it's for the kids. It's for Charlie. And it's for the ability to be able to grieve in private. We want privacy, and some people grieve differently. Some go on book tours and some stay home, but Charlie wanted me to earn.
She's doing all this to launch her new book. It's like Stop in the Name of Jesus or something.
Trust of the people after he was gone. He told me. And everything that he said about that black pilot, well, that was out of context. People just don't know how brilliant he was. He didn't care. He wanted everybody to earn their keep, just as he wants you to earn the money so that you can buy his last book. And we're all grieving, but everyone who's asking questions needs to stop. Okay, that felt good. All right, I think I'm good. God, this mascara's good.
She does really good skits.
Let's sell some books. Yes, thank you, 5. Can I have a moment?
This one's good, but I probably have to mute the music. Every move I make. Every move I make. Crying and dancing. I'll be missing you, Charlie. I'm missing you, Charlie. Oh, that's pretty good.
Honey, it's time to compare my
Oh, that's a pinned video from March. Damn the music, dude. I keep getting fucked on the music.
Press briefing, and before we get into the gaslighting, let's talk about what in the Sith Lord America's most matronly 28-year-old is wearing today. Not super hard to find, a blazer dress, $79 US. Her team must have not liked the video I made about the Gucci earrings. I don't care what you say, I like this one because it's multifunctional. From here up, you're cool to make it to your catering gig, and then from here down, oh my gosh, I can still try out for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. Listen, this is kind of nice. And I agree, it does look nice on her. The lady with the grandpa husband, Josephine Goebbels literally looks like if Voldemort had a baby with Dolores Umbridge. Maleficent if she worked at the Cracker Barrel. It is perfect if she's going to one of her sugar babies of Washington, D.C. dinner. Dress code, calling in the Grim Reaper. Jacket is also giving John Wick, instead of seeking vengeance for the unaliving of his dog, seeking vengeance against anybody that asks a question that doesn't fit the narrative of Orange Sunset. Of course, that of his boss, Stephen Miller's. What about the rest of the press briefing? Okay. In a nutshell, we're in an affordability crisis because of the Democrats. President Trump is fixing everything, including the war in Ukraine, and he's so frustrated that they keep having just meetings.
Oh, they called her out. I forgot about that. They called her out on the 3%.
The stuff in Venezuela doesn't have anything to do with oil. It's just about keeping the drugs out. All those drugs let in by Joe Biden. Next tax season, Americans will see so much more money in their pockets because of President Trump. She said at least $1,000 from the no tax on tips. Biggest refunds ever because of President Trump. And someone asked a question about truck drivers not speaking English. And then he was like, will this extend to Uber drivers? And she was like, we don't have any plans on that, but next up, affordability. Caitlin off the Washington Post. Paraphrasing, but she said, hey, if the tangerine overlord says that the economy is so strong, then why is he also asking parents to only buy 1 or 2 dolls instead of just balling out for Christmas?
I'm sorry, but something is very
on his brother's baby mama. He responded by saying that, yeah, absolutely. If you have to sacrifice now to make sure that next year we can get American-made dolls, then that's what President Trump is doing. So you can support local. And yeah, you might be spending $1 more per doll, but it's because you're supporting local doll makers. No, maybe our constantly constipated looking press secretary is right. McDonald's #1 customer does want to make people happy because he absolutely 100% loves minors. He loves minors. What do you think? Another day, another press briefing. And before we get into
that was bad. Where he keeps saying, I love minors.
I'm saying.
Leader Jeffries, a question, and I would love to ask you because Americans are seeing their healthcare spike. The cost of everything is going up. And like people are becoming more hip to.
I did see the one-on-one.
Oh, wait, you mean all of you guys are funded by AIPAC? Both Democrats and Republicans? It's becoming more and more something that.
If the economy is
where they stand on Gaza, and then the Democrats are like, hey, we have a higher moral standing on this. But it's like, bruh.
You're not getting it. It's not clocking to you. This AIPAC thing, look, we need to reform the Democratic Party. And not all Democrats have been good on this. I have been very clear. I voted against, with 37 Democrats against, the $14 billion to Netanyahu that was used to commit what the UN has found was a genocide. And I have used that language because the UN has used that language, led a letter to recognize a Palestinian state. And I don't take a dime, not just from AIPAC, I don't take a dime from any PAC, any lobbyist. And my view is that has to be the new standard in the Democratic Party. Out with the old in terms of people who are beholden to entrenched interests, and now a politics that isn't going to be beholden to super PAC.
This is like a series she does called I Scream, and they're supposed to both be eating ice cream, but I guess he didn't want his.
To big PACs, to special interests. It's not just AIPAC, it's big pharma. It's,
by the way, Hakeem Jeffries wouldn't answer this question.
Defense contractors, it's big oil, and people see through it.
Big tobacco. Just kidding. They're not doing that anymore, are they?
I don't think they're as big, but look, why do we not have Medicare for all? Big insurance companies. Why do we not have Medicare negotiate with drug prices and make sure Americans don't pay more than people in other Western democracies because of big pharma?
Yeah.
What is skewing our policy on foreign policy? These special interests like AIPAC. And I get attacked all the time. I mean, people can see on my X, but this is my principle.
I did get to ask.
We have reports stating that you
let me show you this. They called him out on this. When the day Trump entered office,
if the economy is
inflation was at 3%. Now, he likes to say that Biden had it at 9, 10, blah, blah, blah. And it was above 9 for like a couple months during the pandemic. But the day he took office, inflation was 3%. The most recent data we have, inflation is 3%. He can't keep saying how good the economy is and how much he's changed when the inflation is the exact same as the day he took office. And she wants to argue it's 2.5%. Why do they have different numbers? Well, Trump, during the government shutdown, even though always, during the government shutdown, we've still collected these numbers. During the government shutdown, we just classified those people as special employees. They still worked. They still got paid. They still collected the numbers, right? Well, this government shutdown, Trump just stopped taking the numbers. So the most recent numbers we have are from September. Carolyn Levitt wants to say, oh, it's 2.5%. You guys just haven't seen the data yet because the government shutdown. But she can't provide that. She can't do nothing. Just listen.
If the economy is as strong as the president has said it is, then why is he telling parents 2 weeks before Christmas that they should only buy 2 or 3 dolls for their children?
With respect to affordability, every economic metric, Caitlin, and I wish you would report more on it, does in fact show that the economy is getting better and brighter than where it was under the previous administration.
It was a year ago, as you know, and grocery prices have been up. So we've covered the economy, but there's mixed signals in terms of what that looks like. But
inflation is down from where it was. As measured by the overall CPI, it has slowed to an average 2.5% pace. This is down from what the president inherited in
So they're kind of pushing back. They're pushing back, right?
inherited 2.9% in January. Today it's at about 2.5%. So we're trending in the right direction, and we believe that number is going to continue to decline.
Even the follow-up questions pushing back on it.
Actually, as energy and oil prices continue to decline as well.
It wasn't high under Biden. They're just saying it's not.
Well, nobody reported on it being high under Biden. My predecessor was standing at this podium.
Nobody reported on inflation being high under Biden. Yes, they did. We just knew that the whole rest, we did better than the rest of the fucking worlds. Whether it was a first world country or a third world country, we did better than all of them. Inflation was high globally. So it was reported on as in context. Like, yeah, it sucks, but we're kind of fucked over COVID.
Now you want to ask me a lot of questions about it, which I'm happy to answer, but I will just add, there's a lot more scrutiny on this issue from this press corps than there was. Well, and the previous administration said that too. My predecessor stood up at this podium and she said inflation doesn't exist. She said the border was secure, and people like you just took her at her word, and those were two utter lies. Everything I'm telling you is the truth, backed by real factual data, and you just don't want to report on it because you want to push untrue narratives about the president. Go ahead. I'm not going to take your call. Go ahead.
Very quickly clarifying.
So even she refused to take her Caitlin Collins follow-up, but then the very next reporter she calls on asks the same question anyways.
Don't want to report on it because you want to push untrue narratives about the president. Go ahead. I'm not going to take your call. Go ahead.
Very quickly clarifying Caitlin's question. You acknowledged that CPI in January when you took office was 3%, and in September, the last month for which we have data, it was also 3%. So
in September, the last month for which we have data, it was also 3%. Where are you getting this 2.5% number?
Acknowledge that CPI in January when you took office was 3%, and in September, the last month for which we have data, it was also 3%. So inflation.
No, it's 2.5%.
Not in September, it was 3%.
It's 2.5%. The average CPI right now, I have it in front of me. In President Trump's first 8 months in office, inflation as measured by the overall consumer price index has slowed to a 2.5 average pace. This is down from the 2.9% inherited in January.
She's reading the statement they put out as her source. What's your source? The statement we put out.
January is 1 month.
If the economy is the average CPI right now, I have it in front of me. In President
for the last month for which we have data, it was also 3%. So inflation.
No, it's 2.5%.
Not in September, it was 3%.
It's 2.5%. The average CPI right now, I have it in front of me. In President Trump's first 8 months in office, inflation as measured by the overall consumer price index has slowed to a 2.5 average pace. This is down.
Average, right? She's using the entire time Trump's been in office to average it because it did dip low at some points.
From the 2.9% inherited.
But right now, this month, or the most recent months we have data for, it's back up to 3%.
In January.
So January is 1 month.
If the economy is as strong as the president has said it is, then why is he telling parents 2 weeks before Christmas that they should only buy 2 or 3 dolls for their children?
With respect to
only buy $2 for your children because the economy's so good. The economy's so good, we got to bail out the farmers again. The economy's so good. Fucking stupid, dude. I can't believe people keep believing it. This is Carolyn Levitt's press conference, so you don't have to.
I watched Caroline Levitt's press conference today, so you don't have to, and here's my overview. It was all crazy, but probably the craziest thing she said, and it was a Freudian slip, and boy, do I love their Freudian slips because they really reveal a lot. She said that Hamas was a technocratic government. The word she was looking for is theocratic, but she is living in a technocratic government, so she used the word technocratic. The whole thing was just over 30 minutes. She mentioned Biden 11 times and Obama twice, and of those Biden 11 mentions, 9 of them happened in just the first 5 minutes during her prepared speech. I'm just going to read you my summary of her prepared statement as I wrote it in my notes. Everything is cheap. Everyone knows it. We are the best ever. Everything bad was Biden's fault. And then she also says that in 7 months, 0 illegal immigrants have been released by Border Patrol into our country, which is totally different than what Donald Trump says, which is that there have been 0 illegal.
We haven't even bought the boys Christmas presents this year, but I went ahead and told them, like, hey, the economy's bad. It's not going to be like a normal Christmas. We'll do what we can. We'll get what we can, and we'll get you presents, make a list or whatever. But it's not going to be nearly as many presents.
Border crossings in 7 months, which again is a statistical impossibility. Every one of these press conferences now, she introduces a new media chair, which is just some blathering right-wing idiot who's unable to form a question or a statement in any proper way. This one, after a long-winded nothing saying, just says that the legacy media is lying about affordability, so what is Trump going to do to stop them from lying? And she says, I just set the record straight with facts. Let me again refer you to her facts in my summary of her prepared statement. Everything is cheap. Everybody knows it. We are the best ever. Everything bad was Biden's fault. She at one point will claim that Trump knows better than any politician in the city of D.C. what it's like to be poor, as he has increased his net wealth by billions by abusing the powers of the presidency. She says that Democrats are the greatest con artists in all of history and that literally every economic measurement shows that the economy is doing fantastic. She will later again say that literally every single economic metric shows that we are doing amazing. She gets asked a question, are we attacking Venezuela for drugs or oil? And her answer is yes. And she says that we took that oil cruiser because we know for a fact that oil was going to go to narco terrorists. So basically all is good, but yes, we're going to be taking that oil because we did seize it. He doesn't even make this claim, but she makes the claim that he has solved 9 conflicts now, which to be fair, she's only off by 9. She also says that he's been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize over 100 times this year. I guess she means just random individuals like Joe Schmo from Texas nominating. So if you're still here with me, I'm going to ask you to do something in my comments. Just put a comment. I nominate Chris for the Nobel Peace Prize. And let's see if we can get at least 100 of them. And then I can claim that I've been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize over 100 times as well. The next question, what are you going to do about the healthcare premiums going up because Republicans refused to vote on this or even acknowledge it during the government shutdown, which was the one thing that the Democrats who should have continued the shutdown were holding power for, was to get you to vote on extending these subsidies. And she says, all of this is the Democrats' fault. They set up Obamacare, and without Obamacare, we wouldn't have any of these issues. As for her plan, she says you'll be hearing from us soon because Republicans are coming up with a bunch of smart and creative ideas. Doesn't explain what any of them are. She says,
by the way, Republicans just rolled out their version of the health care bill with no subsidies.
Will not be continuing talks with Ukraine and Russia until they're actively ready to make a deal, which means that we are not involved in the peace process. So when they later, if this war does end during his presidency, claim that the war was ended by Donald Trump, you can refer back to this statement here where she says that we're not talking to them until they're ready to make a deal. Also, do you remember that he said that this would be over on day 1? Also, he said that it would be over before he even got into office. Also, he said it would be over within 1 day of him being elected for the office. We're coming up on a year. Trump has said multiple times very cryptically that he has already picked someone for the Fed. He's just not going to tell you who it is yet. She says that they're going to have interviews with people to try and decide who they're going to pick for the Fed this week.
It's going to be Besant.
So, I mean, at least they're being transparent about all of this. She's asked, why are we giving China our best NVIDIA chips? And she goes, stop, we're only giving them some, and we're totally going to check before we give them any. She gets asked on the president's thoughts on Jasmine Crockett running for Senate, and she goes, he's been pretty clear on his thoughts. He believes that she's wholly unqualified for the position that she is running for.
Hassett. Did I say Besant? Hassett. Right.
So that would be a congressperson running for a senator's seat when he was a person with no political experience who ran for president, which would, be hypocritical if any of these people cared. She says the judge on the Kilmar Abrego Garcia case is a political activist, but that they're going to keep pursuing this, spending your money to do it, because he's a proven human trafficker and gang member. And she claims that they have proof of both of those things, which she, of course, fails to provide. She will at one point say, and this is because she knows no MAGA watches this stuff, they are willfully uninformed on all of this information. She says that with tariffs, you will be paying more for things, but you're buying them American, so you're helping Americans. So either way, it's a good thing. So only buy your child one doll for Christmas, but also make sure it's American made. This one is just odd because I was so easily able to fact check it using the source she provided. She actually provided a source, so I checked it because she provided it for once. She said that you can go on Gas Buddy and you can see that in 22 states, gas is below $2.75 per gallon. Now, I first checked on AAA because they also track national gas prices, and I was like, oh, she's so close. It's 21 states.
By the way, Trump just slipped that basic. So the Fed is supposed to work independent of the president, though they do communicate with each other. Like, it's not going to be a goddamn, surprise that they're planning on lowering the interest rate at the end of the week or whatever. Trump just basically says, no, I think they should consult with him about this and take his advice. He says, typically, that's not done anymore. It used to be done routinely. It should be done. Trump said, it doesn't mean I don't think he should do exactly what we say, but certainly I'm a smart voice and should be listened to. That's what he's looking for in a new head of the Fed. And that's what he's going to get. And it's probably not going to be great for us.
That are under perhaps
a lot of so right now the Fed's model is not reactionary. Like, they look at everything and they don't want to fuck anything up. What I feel like is going to happen when Trump gets a guy in there is it's going to go back and forth and up and down and back and forth and all around every time something happens. And Trump thinks, oh, I can get 2 more points out of the stock market or 100 more points on this, or we can lower that. And it's just going to turn and turn and turn and change and change and change.
Slightly different data, and so they have 22 states under 275, and she's not lying about this thing. I went on Gas Buddy, and it's 21 states. It's the exact same thing because they're probably using the exact same data. Why lie? Why not just say 21 states? What is the source? So I checked it because she provided it. Ran for president, which would, be hypocritical if any of these people cared. She says the judge on the Kilmar Abrego Garcia case is a political activist, but that they're going to keep pursuing this, spending your money.
They're thinking about pulling the licenses from these fucking attorneys that are bringing the Kilmar Abrego Garcia case, and he's finally out on his habeas claim. So basically, if you're an immigrant slated for deportation, the government can just keep you locked up as long as you're about to be deported. Even if that takes months, they can keep you locked up. If they don't have grounds for a deportation and ready to deport you, they can't just keep you locked up. And the judge is like, no, you haven't shown any reason that you have these grounds to deport him. Why are we keeping him locked up in an immigration facility?
To do it because he's a proven human trafficker and gang member.
Not to mention the judge is very unhappy with the case they brought against him.
And she claims that they have proof of both of those things, which she, of course, fails to provide. She will at one point say, and this is because she knows no MAGA watches this stuff, they are willfully uninformed on all of this information. She says that with tariffs, you will be paying more for things, but you're buying them American, so you're helping Americans. So either way, it's a good thing. So only buy your child one doll for Christmas, but also make sure it's American made. This one is just odd because I was so easily able to fact check it using the source she provided. She actually provided a source, so I checked it because she provided it for once. She said that you can go on Gas Buddy and you can see that in 22 states, gas is below $2.75 per gallon. Now, I first checked on AAA because they also track national gas prices, and I was like, oh, she's so close. It's 21 states that are under. Perhaps Gas Buddy has slightly different data, and so they have $22.75 per gallon. Now, she actually provided a source, so I checked it because she provided it for once. So only buy your child one doll for Christmas, but also make sure it's...
Sorry, I want to hear this.
This one is just odd because I was so easily able to fact check it using the source she provided. She actually provided a source, so I checked it because she provided it for once. She said that you can go on Gas Buddy and you can see that in 22 states, gas is below $2.75 per gallon. Now, I first checked on AAA because they also track national gas prices, and I was like, oh, she's so close. It's 21 states that are under. Perhaps Gas Buddy has slightly different data, and so they have 22 states under $2.75, and she's not lying about this thing. I went on Gas Buddy, and it's 21 states. It's the exact same thing because they're probably using the exact same data. Why lie? Why not just say 21 states? What is the point of adding one additional fake state to your fake count of how much?
Because they'd lie about anything, dude.
21 is good. 21 is a good number of states to be below 275. That, if the Trump presidency had actually done anything to lower gas prices, could be something that they could point to. But instead, she chose to lie and just add an extra state for no reason. And yes, I mean that. She chose to, because this is the most easily fact-checkable thing that she said in this entire thing, other than he ended 9 wars. She at one point will make an entire claim that nobody in the media reported on inflation under Biden's term. Like, they just ignored it and said that it didn't happen, even though that was literally all that the media was talking about the entire time. Here's a direct quote. Everything I'm telling you is truth backed by real factual data. So she doesn't know what real or factual means. And you just don't want to report on it because you want to spread untrue narratives about the president. Just she says so. And then immediately after that, a reporter starts asking a question and she goes, I'm not going to take your question. Very transparent. She gets asked by a reporter, are you going to do anything about the fact that China is taking military action against Japan's island of Okinawa? I have not researched anything about this. Her answer, we're very good friends with Japan and we're very good friends with China. Literally, that was her answer. She gets asked, what's up with the bandages all over Trump's hand? And she gives the same hilarious answer. She says he's shaking so many hands. That's why there's bruising and bandages on them, because he shakes so many hands that's why there's bruising. This is a man who is a self-professed germaphobe who literally said that he was so happy when COVID came around because he thought that would be the end of shaking hands forever. She's claiming that germaphobe is shaking so many hands that it's bruising his incredibly strong alpha male flesh. Crazy. Also, she makes it very clear that the oil rigger that they did illegally seize didn't have any drugs or anything on it, but the oil that was in it was going to go to fuel narco-terrorists, so same difference. We might as well have just blown it up. Her reporter asked her 2 questions. The first one is, why does Trump keep saying that the money to bail out farmers again is coming from tariffs when Brooke Rollins, who's actually giving out the money, saying that it's not? The second question is it a good look for a billionaire to tell your average everyday American to only buy 1 or 2 toys for their children when they're a billionaire? She decides to skip the first question, and for the second question goes, don't you think the people in Pennsylvania who he was talking to know that he's a billionaire? That's why they elected him. He's a good businessman. She does not mention his 6 bankruptcies as part of that. At this point, she gets asked the question about Palestine, at which point she will say that Hamas is a technocratic government. But the question is, what are you going to do to move on to the second stage of this Palestine peace agreement? And she goes, it's just amazing that in 10 months, we've been able to solve this issue that's been going on for 7.
So the farmer bailouts are actually coming from the CCC, which is the USDA's, Commodity Credit Corporation Fund, which is taxpayer monies. It's taxes you paid that goes into this fund. It does not come directly from tariffs, as Trump keeps saying.
70 years, which completely negates the fact that Trump for 4 years was president before and did not do anything to solve the conflict that had been going on for 70 years. Also ignores the fact that Israel continues to bomb Palestinian citizens and commit an open genocide, for which they have been condemned by the ICC as having committed an open genocide. She doesn't care about that. She says that there is peace, and again, we've solved 9 conflicts. She gets asked, is it concerning that Putin and Maduro are in agreement and aligned on all of these issues? And she says, nah, not a problem. A reporter says, hey, the things you're saying about inflation aren't actually true. Her answer to that, yes, they are. I have the numbers right in front of me. Next question. She gets asked again, hey, what is the plan that Republicans are supporting to deal with the imminent healthcare crisis where people's insurance premiums are going to triple or quadruple? And she says that Democrats caused the whole thing and Chuck Schumer's only voting on it to just like play show. He doesn't actually want anything to happen. And they should just be agreeing with us on lower drug prices are good enough answer. She gets asked about a prolonged war with Venezuela and she says it won't be a prolonged war, which just reminds me of every general throughout all of history saying we'll be home for Christmas. And finally, one of the most disturbing things she says is that what Trump says on Truth Social is pretty much indicative of what he's saying behind closed doors. I'm just going to remind you that what he says on Truth Social is things like Tim Walz is retarded, and that should bother you because it's the president who said. I watched Caroline Leavitt's press conference today.
It's a mess. That's basically the takeaway from this. It's a fucking mess.
I watched Donald Trump signing a bill to give the Congressional Gold Medal to the 1980s Miracle on Ice team, so you didn't have to, and here's my overview. It's hilarious because it starts off with him just describing what happened in the game where they beat the USSR, period by period, but throughout the entire thing, he keeps putting his own emotions and input into it, and then asking them, isn't that right? He at one point says, there were 10 minutes left and they were up by 1, and then he says, it was the scariest, most crazy 10 minutes, whatever, of your entire life, wasn't it? Isn't that right? And then he just kept saying, like, it was so scary, you were terrified, and they were like, yeah, okay, anyways. This won't take 10 minutes, by the way. And then it went around the room and people just said happy things about Trump, and he was happy for them to do that, and then they started asking questions. They said, what's going on in Ukraine? And he says, we're working to see if we can make a deal, which Caroline Leavitt said yesterday. They're just waiting to see if Ukraine and Russia figure it out. So there's no transparency there. And then he says, but also there's a lot of death. And then he just moves on to the next question. And then he gets asked about the NIL, I guess, and like them paying college athletes. And he says basically that the most successful universities don't make that much money. I just looked it up. Harvard, by the way, has an endowment of $56.9 billion, which is more than Donald Trump's net worth. And then he says, because they don't make that much money, college athletes shouldn't be paid. And then he says, if they do keep paying athletes, then the colleges are going to get wiped out. I mean, the scare tactics are never ending for any topic.
I think they did the NIL wrong. And here's why. I think they ought to just give every player the same salary. No matter the school, no matter what, no matter nothing. Because I know college athletes, Division I college athletes at some schools that were having to work like fucking at McDonald's and shit to pay for food. But now they've turned it into this game where everybody's trying to go to the portal and get more money and get better deals and this, that, and the other. I think she just went across the board and said, here's the money you're going to get while you're here to survive. But I could be wrong.
If you don't stop paying college athletes for using their likeness and using their bodies up and all of those things, then colleges will be permanently destroyed forever. A reporter asks a very reasonable question. Will you be seizing more oil from Venezuela? And he says, I swear to God, I don't want to tell you you're a big reporter. He said it before, but he confirms now by saying it's going to start. We're going to start bombing people on land, not just boats. And he says it's not going to happen in Venezuela only. It's going to happen in other countries. Also, he says that Colombia has 3 cocaine factories. These are all answers to one question. And then he also says there's no more fishing boats. And then he also says that the border is strong. And then he also says that every year 300,000 people are killed by drugs as one answer. And then about Ilhan Omar, he says she's very bad for our country. All she does is complain. She comes from a country that doesn't have military or government or police. All that they do is kill each other. And then he looks at another congressperson and he's like, this guy also hates her, but don't say it. I'll be the one to say it. All she does is bitch. And also billions of dollars are being taken by Somalis in Minnesota, which even if it was fully true, I haven't read all the stories about it to know it's 1 billion. So he's just exaggerating the billions again too. But don't let that take away from the fact that he's clearly hate mongering and then also putting that hate mongering on other public officials, but giving them some sort of indemnity where he's just like, I'll do it for you because no one can blame me because all I say is that they always blame me for everything I say. But then I say shit like she marries her brother and also she hates America and all that, whatever. Concerning also doing land strikes again, he says that we have to because imagine if you were in a war and you lost 300,000 people in a year, which again is a number that he's made up. He even acknowledges that by saying that most people say it's 100,000, but I think it's 300,000. And then he says it's maybe between 2 and 300,000. And then he says it's more than 300,000 again. So again, the number is between 80 and 110,000. And that's just because of the rise in the opioid epidemic, which is being caused by internal issues and Mexico and China and has nothing to do with Venezuela at all whatsoever. A reporter asked him a very fair question. What is your plan for when the subsidies for Obamacare do expire? Which is not a loaded question. It's not saying that you've done anything wrong. It's not saying you have to do anything. Just what is your plan? And he says to that reporter, you're a bad reporter and you're a Democrat plan. And then he also says that Obamacare is a plan by Democrats to give money to insurance companies because the Democrats own those insurance companies. A female reporter is just trying to ask a question like everyone else. And he tells her, like, he's like, hey, you need to calm down. And then he calls her aggressive. Our reporters like new Epstein pics came out today and you're in them. And so is Steve Bannon. His answer, I don't know anything about that. Steve Bannon was all over South Florida. I have nothing to do with that. I don't know anything about that. He's asked how much influence should he have over the Fed rate. He says he's a really good businessman, so he should at least have some say in it. But he doesn't know because in the past past, they've done it a lot where the president has had control, but now it's not so much a thing anymore, so he's not sure. And then he says, in contradiction to what Caroline said yesterday and what he said the day before that he is going to be interviewing people over the next couple of weeks. Now, he said a couple days ago that he has already picked, and she said yesterday that they are interviewing multiple people this week. So there you go, transparency for you. And for those who might remember my arrest from this summer for interfering with a police officer, I had a pretrial hearing today, and they dropped and sealed the case. So there you go. I watched Donald Trump sign a bill to give the congressional...
Wait, what was that last part?
Not sure. And then he says, in contradiction to what Caroline said yesterday and what he said the day before that he is going to be interviewing people over the next couple weeks. Now, he said a couple days ago that he has already picked, and she said yesterday that they are interviewing multiple people this week. So there you go, transparency for you. And for those who might remember my arrest from this summer for interfering with a police officer, I had a pretrial hearing today, and they dropped and sealed the case. So there you go.
There you go.
Donald Trump signed.
He just mentioned it, so I guess we'll look through the 19 photos released today. 19 new photos released from the Epstein case. There's the first one, Trump, Epstein. Clinton, Epstein, Ghislaine. Bill Gates. Steve Bannon. Why the fuck? Hold on. I think there's a video that says this better than I could say it. Give me just a second.
Jeff.
This video says every powerful person from the last 3 decades.
Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know who that man is.
But I would love to get a photo with him.
I'm sorry, who's here? Jeffrey Epstein? The man with the evil island? I've heard some very bad things.
Would he take a photo with me, though?
No, sorry, I can't make it tonight. I have dinner with this
mysterious man who I've never heard of before, yet I'm giving my time to.
Jeffrey Epstein. Have you heard of him?
We will be taking a photo together.
Yes, I do run a giant tech corporation, and I take it very seriously. But if 90% of my time is not spent taking photos with Jeffrey Epstein...
Then what is it all for?
I just want to make it clear, though, that I do not know who... No one knows who this man is. But we all need to get a photo with him for some goddamn reason. I'm sorry, what's her name?
Ghislaine Maxwell?
I don't know who that is, but her name starts with Jizz, so...
Get her in the photo op.
Jeffrey Epstein.
No, the most popular man that no one fucking knows a thing about. It's incredible, huh? All right, let's go. Trump again with someone blocked out, I guess a victim. Epstein in the back. That's what's his name from Richard Branson. Is that his name? Bronson from Virgin Mobile. I don't know who that is. Bannon and Epstein. Epstein's kind of hidden behind the chat. And yes, I don't know if you guys zoomed in on this photo. That's a girl passed out on the couch. It's a framed photo of a girl passed out on the couch. There's also something right here blocked out. What is this? So there's all these private photos. That's blacked out. That's a victim. I don't know what that would have been. Is that a photo? Could be. And then this photo's blacked out. No, she's laying to the side. Like her legs are hanging off the couch to the side. Epstein again with the director, I guess. Trump and all these fucking girls. Trump and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 victims. at the table with a blacked out photo. I'm huge. Trump condoms. I'm huge for $4.50 a piece. Are they to fuck his turkey neck? His nussy? Bill Gates, Prince Andrew. Steve Bannon again. God damn, Steve Bannon's there everywhere. In his famous Harvard quarter zip on the plane. Apparently that's not a victim. She's too old anyways. The jawbreaker gag. Terms and conditions. Disclaimer, warranty. Always observe a person who has a gag in their mouth. Never leave that person unattended. The jawbreaker gag will cause a person's mouth to produce more saliva than a regular gag and create a choking hazard if the person is unattended or inverted for any reason. It is possible for a person to vomit and suffocate even while standing, so extreme care and caution must be exercised with the use of this product. Failure to follow these instructions could result in serious injury or death. Never leave a person with a jawbreaker gag in their mouth unattended. You understand the risks associated with the use of this product and take precautions mentioned above. Warning, choking hazard over here. Hell yeah. A pleasure glove. I have a whole set of these, different sizes. Mariah calls that one the beehive. Portraits, victims, expensive furniture. Extreme restraints, anal beads, a pussy pump, some type of metal gagging device or something. There's the pussy pump. Complete shibari. I guess like rope tying of people. Some rope. Size matters, pussy pump. Shackles, handcuffs, maybe down here. That is nipple clamps. That's why Atsuko was asking how she could get a pussy pump in the rice dungeon. So there's your 19 photos released by the Oversight Committee today. Israel attacked the UN, and no one's even talking about it. Israel attacked the UN. Atsuko says it's Chinese bondage.
That's the Israeli flag being raised above a United Nations compound in Jerusalem. The UN's flag once flew in that exact same spot, but on Monday, Israeli authorities raided the headquarters of UNRWA, the United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees, and they raised the Israeli flag in its place. UN officials say furniture, IT equipment, and other property were seized by Israeli authorities during this raid. Israeli authorities, for their part, say that this was all part of what they're calling a debt collection procedure, claiming that the United Nations owed some more than $3 million in property taxes. The UN, for its part, says it's exempt from those property taxes. But this feud between Israel and UNRWA is about so much more than just property taxes. That's because Israel actually passed a law last year that banned UNRWA from operating on Israeli territory. The Jerusalem municipality then began trying to collect property taxes from UNRWA after the law went into effect at the beginning of the year.
year. The law also forced UNRWA staff to vacate the premises of that compound back in January. But the UN says the compound remains UN premises, and that means it should be immune from any kind of interference. One top UN official calling this a, quote, blatant disregard for Israel's responsibilities as a UN member state. That's the Israeli flag being raised above a United Nations compound.
So they claimed that they were invalid, right? And they needed to start paying taxes. They didn't pay taxes, so they attacked this UN building. What the fuck? Seems kind of crazy, no? Like it was UN building. The fuck? I've got something good for you to end on. This is a pretty good prank. Usually I don't like pranks because they're stupid or they get out of control or out of hand or whatever, or they're fake and they're just dumb and they're like, watch me prank my wife. There's like a whole series on TikTok about these people shooting each other, shooting balloons with shaving cream in them, and it's all fake. I don't think this one's fake. Here we go. My favorite prank video of the day.
$100. Scream in this microphone as loud as you can. Easy. Yep, easy.
I'm here to meet a 13-year-old boy.
So as soon as they hold the megaphone up to their mouth, he plays through Bluetooth, I'm here to meet a 13-year-old boy. Which is amazing, right?
I'm here to meet a 13-year-old boy.
Bro, what? That's crazy. Bro, you want to make $100 real quick? Right there. Right there. And just scream as loud as you can.
I'm here to meet a 13-year-old boy.
Bro, what?
I'm here to meet a 13-year-old boy.
I caught you 4K, bro.
He's trying to turn it off.
Scream in this megaphone as loud as you can. Easy $100.
I'm here to meet a 13-year-old boy.
That is
at a playground, bro.
Crazy, bro. The playground?
Nah, bro. Nah. 13-year-old boy.
Want me $20? Yell into this microphone as loud as you can. Just click that play button. Here's 20.
I'm here to meet a 13-year-old boy.
$100. Scream in this microphone.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I admit it.
Me? Can you hold this? I need to tie my shoe.
Sure.
Appreciate it. Here.
I'm here to meet a 13-year-old boy.
Oh.
I'm a 13-year-old boy.
You're a 13-year-old boy?
Yeah.
All right, bro. I'll give you $20 if you scream in this mic as loud as you can.
All right.
All right, here.
I'm here to meet a 13-year-old boy.
$100. Scream in.
Set it down and run away.
As loud as you can.
Just yell.
Yep. Pretty easy.
$100?
Yeah.
Amazing.
$100. Real?
Yeah.
All I have to do is yell?
Yep.
I'm here to meet a 13-year-old boy.
What?
You're a Chinese cyber weapon.
That's crazy, bro. Play button. Here's 20.
We just saw this one.
I'm here to meet a 13-year-old boy.
They just left standing there holding it. All right, guys. Support the show. Use the links. Help me pay the bills around here. I know it's Christmas time. Money's tight. I understand. Use the links. Support the show. I'm out for the night. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I got to do a video on the white elephant gifts. I got some good ones. Actually, stay right here. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you one of them. Ready? Stay right here. Are you there? Let's switch cameras.
Hey, Dannies, it's me, the Linda Binder.
All right, go off. Stop. Go. finish the intro thing. All right. So it comes in a brown box. Then it comes wrapped like this. I'm going to 3D print probably a thing, like a screw lid for this to hold it. And what is it, you ask? Well, let me show you. This is the first time I've opened it. It's... It's a 12-inch. It's a 12-inch squishy pickle that stretches and squeezes. It's even textured. It's a 12. It's not a dildo. There's not enough strength in there. Okay. It is a. It's a stress relief device. It is a 12-inch. Oh yeah, it's a 12-inch. Okay, that's one of my white elephant gifts. I got some artwork. I got some good stuff. Okay, we'll have to do a video on it and figure out how to block my family from seeing it. But I got some good ones. Okay, 12 inches, all kosher. You know me. I don't understand what's the big deal. Got him. See you guys on the next one. Love you. See you. Bye.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the forking balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the forking balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit.
Maybe I'll record the video, but I won't post it till after Christmas, maybe. I don't know. I've got some real ones. I've got 2 real ones, 2 gag ones. Yeah, I think they're pretty good. My sister told me I couldn't be vulgar because her husband's a pastor and it's at his house. So I did not go vulgar. I went fucking hilarious. That's what I did. Support the show so I can buy more stupid shit. We'll have a donation alert where I have to hit myself with a 12-inch pickle or something. I don't know. Good luck.
I'm gonna make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry. I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine.
Bye, losers.
Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted.
Love you.
He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa, wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait.